Welcome to the penultimate, maybe ultimate episode stream of Fallout 4 Wasteland Reborn. As you can see, with the Enclave flags, last time we finished the campaign with the Enclave, the America Rising Enclave mod. And there's not too much of significance to do in this game left, in my estimation. I am going to do Far Harbor. I don't know if I'll do all of it. I'll start it and I'll see how much it annoys me. And if it annoys me a lot, we won't finish it. I made my character suit shiny for some reason because big shiny ass.
Diamond City surplus, everything you need.
And yeah, this is the final episode or not, I don't know. But it's going to be essentially
undefended. High quality
Jesus Christ, Totoro, calm down.
sale.
It's going to I'm going to play Far Harbor and also use this stream to go over a lot. I'm going to talk about Fallout. I'm going to talk about Bethesda. I'm going to talk about the mod. I'm going to talk about how I think and stuff that I've spoken previously through in previous episodes. But now that I've kind of finished a playthrough of both a modded as playthrough of this game.
We got a new case while you and Nick were out. Ready to put on the detective hat?
I feel like it's like, okay, we've come to the end. Let's do our wrap up. So this says food is a weapon. I thought it said Todd was a weapon. Oh boy.
Who's our client? A fisherman whose family lives on the edge of the Commonwealth. Kenji Nakano.
Nakano? Huh. That name takes me back. My memory's a little fuzzy on the details, though.
How? You're a
Maybe
robot.
if you bothered writing things down, Nick.
Can't do that. Wouldn't want to put you out of a job.
Huh. I'll remember that the next time you need me to console a hysterical client. Mr. Nakano didn't leave many details. Said he'd go over everything when you meet him. But if you want my guess, missing person case. Guy had a worried look a mile long.
This man walked all the way from like the corner of the Commonwealth to Diamond City to file a missing persons fuck.
I'll go check it out. Thanks, Ellie.
The Nakano residence is up in the northeast, near the coast.
I always
A small
find it weird
fishing
that you
house.
can
He said that
you
he
can
and
do
his
this
wife will be
entire
waiting for you.
DLC without
It's
Nick,
a long
and it's funny.
walk. That's how the hard cases always start.
Be careful when you head over
All right,
to the
Nick,
Nakano
I'll bring
residence.
him
That area
along.
is pretty isolated.
Let's head out.
Well, all right.
Now, do I want to give him a better weapon? No, I don't care.
Even good people do crazy things when they're scared. That'll be Diamond City's motto.
So let's start talking about Wasteland Reborn. Wasteland Reborn started off kind of sour for me. I think it's also because I was really focusing on a lot of the vanilla stuff in the game, which is boring. And instead of focusing more on modded content, which was more interesting overall. It's funny because I have gotten several comments rightfully pointing out how my first stream of Wasteland Reborn, a lot of me complaining, and it actually makes it actually makes me upset that that's one of my more popular videos on YouTube, because it's like, oh wow, what's this? And it's like just some fucking asshole complaining, and it's yeah, but it did get better, I'll say that. I did start to enjoy this mod pack much more as my character leveled up and as I started shying away from vanilla Fallout 4 stuff, which I find for the most part to be kind of miserable. I'll say this game does, or this mod pack does, Jesus Christ, these bugs. this mod pack does a lot that I think is pretty good in terms of trying to add interesting quests and interesting weapons and armor, revamping the combat and the skill system, the RPG part of the game, as much as it can without like 100% overhauling it, reintroducing skill points, retooling the perks, all those mods that were put together. It feels like there is a very clear vision with this mod pack in terms of wanting it to be like a super vanilla plus, which is kind of how I've described it over the course of the playthrough, is that it's meant to be like it's very vanilla, like it's not doing too much. It's not like some of the ones that turn this game into like Stalker or like super hardcore survival. It's focusing on, you know, this is still like you hold this up next to vanilla Fallout 4 and you see the resemblance. And I would recommend this. If you enjoy Fallout 4, you will probably enjoy this quite a bit. It's pretty good in doing what I just said it does, in making it a vanilla plus without going too far. Some of the quest mods and like the other stuff, the quest mods and stuff that I played, some of them were kind of mid. Some of them were very small. They weren't trying to be very ambitious or very you know, they were just supposed to be like, here's a quest, you know. Some of them were pretty impressive for being like, you know, having, you know, even if it was only like 40 minutes, a 40-minute long quest or something like that, the fact that it had, you know, a cast of like 4, 5, 6 different people, you know, doing voice acting and different multiple ways of completing it. It was that one, I'm thinking specifically of the one that was in the underground lab. That was pretty cool.
What's that?
Even if I did kind of like tease it at the time, it was good. It did a good job of what it was trying to do, and I think it was much more engaging than the vast majority of the vanilla quests in this game. And I think Enclave Reborn, I keep wanting to call it Enclave Reborn. It's technically called America Rising 2. That adds an entire new way of going through the main story quest line, a whole new faction, bringing the Enclave, a bunch of new areas. It's like 20 quests long. I had no fucking idea what I was getting into when I first started it. I thought it was just like a thing, like a little small thing. And I was wrong. It was really engaging. It was the best. It was the most exciting thing in terms of like when I started this game up, after I started that quest line, whenever I started this game up, I wanted to do more of that. And, you know, I only took a break to do Point Lookout, which I quite enjoyed Point Lookout as well. Granted, that's not really an original thing. The modders did do a very good job, though, of course, porting in the original, or porting, essentially re-porting, remaking, rejiggering the original, what the fuck? The original, like, Point Lookout to Fallout 4. It's actually quite good. It's Sperm ghoul whale. Huh. Okay. Wasteland Reborn is pretty good. Granted, I have not actually played too many Fallout 4 mod packs. I played more Skyrim ones. But this was enjoyable. I think that the weakest parts of Wasteland Reborn are not Wasteland Reborn's fault. The weakest parts of Wasteland Reborn are the fact that it has to... It's still attached to Fallout 4. I have to sneeze one second. Fallout 4 is the worst game in this series, tied with, you know, jockeying for last place with 76. It is so shallow. It is so hollowed out from the previous entries, even compared to Fallout 3, which has also been victim of Bethesda's hollowing out. Fallout 4 seems to be is just the continuing example of Bethesda trimming away and shaving off systems you can wonder why they do this. Why do they constantly narrow the allowed sort of gameplay that the player and mechanics that the player engages with? Why is it that their games have less and less freedom for the player to do anything outside of, like, shoot a gun or swing a sword? There is so little that you can do in these games, and they strip more and more away in every iteration. And that is the thing is that Fallout 4 is not a. It's hard. It's hard to say that a game is not a good game. And why I feel like it's hard to say is that a game is not a good game is, what the fuck is that noise? Why is it hard to say that a game is not a good game? I think it's hard to say that a game is not a good game because it's easy to point to games that are significantly worse than Fallout 4 in terms of that they're just broken. They are just completely broken. There are games out there that are completely fucked.
Damn it!
And
Come in!
Jesus fucking
I know
Christ.
you're listening on the other end. Where is she? Where is my daughter?
Kenji, please. You've been at this for hours. Stop. You need sleep.
You know,
She's out
it's
there.
a
Someone has her.
so these lights seem
Raiders
very, very
or
bright,
gunners or
but I
God
kind of like
knows
them.
What else?
It's very, like, Fallout 4 has, like, it's not a good game. I think and it's hard to also because we are almost, we're 8-9 years out from its launch. So I would argue that it is not aged well. I would argue that Fallout 4 probably was not that good of a game even when it came out. I feel like you could compare this to, you know, what is Fallout? What is a Fallout game? A Fallout game is a post-apocalyptic RPG. What is a role-playing game? Well, a role-playing game is a game. It's a very wide, I guess you would say, genre. There's a lot of different takes on it, but the idea of being able to create and play a specific character, and games have different ways of doing that. Some of it is purely numerical. You're playing a character who uses knives, or there's good with guns, and it's sort of like just stat based. You can play some games with more dialogue, like the Fallout series. You can play a character who's mean, who's friendly, who's cooperative, who's a fucking asshole psychopath. You know, you can just start shooting people if you wanted to. The Fallout 4 has very limited options for you to roleplay anything outside of what the devs wanted for their story, and also in the gameplay. I feel like the two ways you can broadly chop up how you can play an RPG would be gameplay and narrative, and those things are related. Obviously, they can feed off of one another. Good games do that all the time, in that they are very, very sort of related. How do you RP a character in gameplay? By how you play the game. Is your character using, and you can see this across all of the Fallout series, is your character using guns? Are they using big guns? Are they using small guns? Are they using energy weapons? Are they using conventional weapons? Are they using explosives? You know, are you using melee weapons? Are you using unarmed? Are you going to be using stealth at all? Are you going to focus on any of the sort of ancillary skills, like stuff like lockpicking or science? Are you going to be focusing on speech? Are you going to just forget that? You know, what are you going to choose to build your character? That's one way you build a character.
Head over to the Nakano residence when we can. Find out what
Thank you, Nick.
is about.
And then the other way you do it is through narrative, as I've said. How do you interact with the world and the characters? Do you side with person A or person B? Do you think that group A or group B is correct? How do you resolve a certain situation? Do you do it peacefully? Do you do it violently? You know, and that's the way that the games, like RPGs, sort of envelop their players in the world, is giving them these choices. Fallout 4 has so little of that, in that you have no choice for your character. You start the game and you are always the same person with always the same background. You have no choice of how, your character is always someone from the pre-war, is always someone who is a, late 20s, early to mid 30s something. You're either a soldier, a former soldier, or a lawyer. You've just had a son recently. War happens, frozen, all that. You're always looking for your child. There's no way to spurn this at any route. The main quest always focuses you back to finding your kid. You never can. You're not even given the choice to ignore it and just continue along the main quest line. And you always have to go to the institute. You always have to meet father. You always have to do that. There's so little choice even in the terms of the factions. You have 4 factions to choose from, but that's it. There is nothing interesting about each of the factions in terms of stories within them or anything like that. There's no choices once you've picked which side you want to back, which fucking jersey do you want to wear, and that's it. In the gameplay, the default gameplay for this for Fallout 4 is the mono build. They again, coming back to the idea of them stripping away their games layer by layer, mechanic by mechanic. They got rid of skills, and as such, limited your ability to make any sort of meaningful choice on how your character develops by what you put points into. And then at the same time, they devalued perks. Perks used to be special. Perks used to be very, very limited. They used to be much more specialized in that they had more relevancy to a specific build, where if you might get a perk that affects only a specific kind of weapon or only a specific type of gameplay, and that it would only be relevant to a character who was playing like that, where now the perks are all, for the most part, very generalized, very plain, very boring. A lot of them are just percentages. Every character can be good with every single gun. You can always have a character can be good with pistols, can be good with any kind of pistol. They can be good with a revolver, an automatic. They could be good with a fucking laser pistol or a plasma pistol. It doesn't matter. It's just a pistol. Same with the rifles. Same with heavy weapons. There's all the granularity you had in terms of being able to construct a character through the choices of leveling up and how that affected it is gone. I think a good example is that New Vegas, I think, is a good comparison, because New Vegas has a lot of freedom in terms of quest design as well as in terms of how you build your character. And I like this little thought experiment. I guess you could call it a thought experiment. I don't know. The idea of, let's say you give 3 people who have never played Fallout New Vegas before.
Hope you don't mind.
You give 3 people who have never played New Vegas before.
God.
You say, okay, you're each going to play Fallout New Vegas,
She could be hurt.
start to finish,
She could be...
including the
Slow
DLCs.
down. Kenji, was it?
These 3
Why don't you go
characters,
over
or
the details
characters,
with me and
these
my
3
partner
people
here?
You brought
would
a
have
partner?
completely,
Good.
or
The
could
more
have
eyes, the
completely
better.
different quests, completely different playthroughs to each other. These people, you could have 3 different people who played New Vegas. Sorry, the fucking dialogue has screwed me up. I hear the crosstalk and I would just lose my mind. 3 people play Fallout New Vegas. They would all play it differently. You run back their playthroughs at the end of the day, and it would be completely different from each of the 3 people. And it would be different not just in terms of how they might have chosen to do certain quests or which factions they've chosen. It would be completely different in terms of how they built their characters. You could have one person who did a melee build and sided with Caesar's Legion. One person who did like a like a cowboy build, and they sided with Mr. House, and then a third person who did who did like a fucking explosives build, and they sided with the NCR. And you could have these people talk and be like, and talk to each other and go, oh wow, what about this quest?
Mr. and Mrs. Nakano.
Oh, like, what did you do with this quest? It's like, oh, I killed this person. Oh, I did this instead. Oh wow, and there was differences for that. But if you did all of if you had 3 people who had never played Fallout New or Fallout 4 do this,
Myself.
you would never. There would be very little granularity in how they changed, how the gameplay changed between their 3 playthroughs. All 3 of them would have pretty much the broad strokes of the exact same shit happening. There's so little difference in terms of how each faction even plays and what quests you end up doing, outside of like a bit of set dressing. And God forbid some poor person picked the fucking Minutemen as their first playthrough. God damn, they would have been like gotten the worst experience ever.
Sounds wonderful, but then they started asking about me, and some questions came up.
Sorry,
I don't have
dialogue
answers
makes my brain hurt, and I can't keep talking.
Off, like I'm not really supposed to be here, but then there are things in my childhood I can't remember, and I've been having strange dreams.
I like how this story is Kasumi being essentially like fucking lured out by some weird cult on an island.
A town called Far Harbor. I can make my way to them from there.
That's really fucking weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's like Fallout 4 is so just, I don't know, it's boring, I think is the thing, is that there's a huge world and there's just nothing to do. The quests are boring, the companions are uninteresting. The gameplay is dull. There's nothing to it. You level up and you pick mindless perks that do so little in terms of, ooh, wow, 5% more damage. So fucking exciting. Doesn't matter. You spend hours and hours collecting junk. What's it called? Hours and hours selecting junk to make your shitty weapons slightly better.
Our daughter Kasumi likes to fix things. The radio was her latest project.
Until she made contact with some kidnapper who lured her away from us.
Or maybe she left on her own. She's not a child anymore. Our daughter is 19. She knows how to survive, and she's capable. I think maybe she left because she wanted her own life.
No, she would have told us where she was going. She would have said something.
I'm gonna spoil it. Kasumi thinks she's a synth. She's not actually a synth.
I already took a look around. I think I know what happened to Kasumi.
You did? What did you find? Where is she?
I think I know where Kasumi went. A place called Far Harbor.
She went that far up north? God, that explains why she took the boat. There's no time to waste. You have to go after her.
Wait, did you find out why she left, Detective? Who she was speaking to?
What does it matter?
Because I know my daughter, and if she didn't tell us where she went, then she had a reason. Don't you want to know if she wants to be found?
You're right, Detective. Did you find any clue to why Kasumi left home?
Your daughter made contact with a group of synths. She thinks she's one of them.
What? That's crazy.
She's not a synth. She's our daughter. We raised her. I gave birth to her. She's flesh and blood, not a synthetic.
Maybe your daughter is just confused. Having an identity crisis.
Oh God. Does she even think we're still her parents?
This is what I was afraid of. Someone twisting my daughter's mind. You have to get to Far Harbor. Take my ship on the dock. It has a guidance system. A final gift from my father. And it's built for distance.
Alright.
I'll get to the bottom of this, Kenji.
Thank you. I know you haven't asked for a payment, and we can't offer much. But here, please take it. I insist. For expenses, if nothing else.
I know it'll be hard waiting for word, but try to carry on like normal. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Fine, Kasumi.
You know, that's another thing, is that, like, the God, even the limitations of the writing is boring, the writing is bad. And also the fact that, God, even something of so bizarre, like there was a I don't know what it was, but it was some sort of thing. There was like an interview with a bunch of people who worked with at Bethesda, and one of the people there was Emil Pagliarulo, who was the guy, the lead creative guy, lead writer guy for this game. And one of the things he said is that that they had to limit the amount of dialogue you have with characters, or like the character, like the player had, in that you had to be like, okay, we give the player like 2 options of dialogue, and that's it. Then we have to call it off. Fucking why? In Fallout 1, 2, New Vegas, even in 3, you could have conversations that go on for like 20 minutes with oh, bye, Nick. 20 minutes of just like dialogue talking about a character and his fucking motivations, or about like a certain quest or whatever. But in this one, oh no, we can't. We're not telling an RPG. This isn't an RPG. This isn't a story. Oh, hi, Nick. Oh, bye, Nick. What the fuck? Incredible disappearing detective. It's honestly like, God, I don't know. I think a lot of it is just trying to aim for a broader audience, and so stripping away things that might scare off people who don't play as many video games, people who might only know Fallout or Elder Scrolls from memes or tangentially through other sort of like just cultural references, and who don't actually have ever played any of the games, and trying to get them to come on to the game. And what they do is they strip this shit away, and it alienates existing fans of the series, while also making a game so fucking dull that why the fuck do you why would you want to play it, even if you're new to the series?
Are you lost? This is Far Harbor. We don't get many visitors around here.
We don't need no freeloaders or more help, mainlander. So you can get back in your boat and leave.
Alan, this isn't your dock. It belongs to the whole town. And that means strangers are welcome. Sorry, you've caught us during a difficult time. But Alan's got a point. Not all visitors have good intentions. So, what's your business here?
A young woman from the Commonwealth named Kasumi may have passed through here. Her family hired me to find her.
Some sort of detective, huh? Well, she came through here all right.
At least we know she made it this far.
Well, gotta play fucking fort defense.
Mariners incoming.
Something's coming through the fog! You, help us defend the town, and I'll answer any questions you have.
What if I don't defend the town?
The main gate. The hall never lets us down. Now follow me!
Oh, that was weird. The texture. Oh, look. Texture there, texture gone. Texture there, texture gone. Texture there, texture gone. Gone there, gone, gone, there, there.
Man the hall! Something's out there. You sure you saw something? This ain't a drill.
And so you might ask, 1 second. I have to get something. I was gonna start talking and walking away from my mic, thinking I was wearing a headset. Give me a second. So you might ask, why do you play this game if you don't like it? Just don't play it. And I say to you, you know, as if I'm the first person on the internet to ever play a game that they thought is bad.
Open the gate! I've got wounded out here.
There's no
time. Look to the fog. They're coming.
And secondly, you think like there's, you know, specifically with this mod pack is that there's something I want to go away. There's things, you know, I think a mod pack like this shows that these games have a community that cares so much about these series to make things that are so high quality, and that the actual developers let it down. What? Why were they shooting me? What the fuck did I do? Oh, great. Good. Glad. Quality video game. So first of all, I'm not the first person to make fun of, or not make fun of, to critique a game or to play a game that they don't think is very good on the internet. And secondly, I feel like it's a case of I like this series and I want it to be better. I want it to go back to the high points, to the games that I enjoy. I want it to be more like 1, 2, and New Vegas. And I have to kind of think that it's one of those things where after a time it's like, do you just go, well, maybe this series is dead. It's just they're you know, they've fucking killed it by making games that are just so boring and uninteresting.
Put the damn gun down.
Come on, let me off the boat.
Are you lost? This is Far Harbor. We don't get many visitors around here.
We don't need no freeloaders or more help, mainlander. So you can get back in your boat and leave.
Alan, this...
Yep.
A young woman.
So...
At least.
Damn it. Mariners incoming.
Something's coming through the fog!
You, help us defend the town, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Gonna save this time. And I've lost my train of thought. I want this series to be better. I want this series to continue because I enjoy this series. There's so much you can do with Fallout in terms of just fucking making games all over. And oh, there's Nick. Hi, Nick. And for some fucking reason, they just keep making these games worse and worse and worse. You know, like I can't imagine being a person who thought that Fallout 4 was bad, and then Fallout 76 comes out.
Look to the fog. They're coming.
Gulpers!
Defend yourselves!
These things are fucking huge.
Mess with me?
Oh my god.
Defend yourselves!
You or me?
It's over.
No. Eyes on the fog. Something's coming.
Where's Nick? Oh.
Anglers!
Clear. Well done, all. Open the gate.
Avery.
And now you see what we're up against.
Bunch of fish.
The fog and the creatures it spits out have taken the whole island from my people. But for your help when we needed it, you deserve this.
Everywhere I go, nobody's got it easy.
No argument here. I think...
I'm done cowering behind your damn hull, Avery. Time you let me deal with the real problem. With the right people and my guns, I can end those Children of Adam cultists for good.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
The fog's been here forever. The children didn't make it.
Before the Rat Eaters came, the fog was under control. They come, and it all goes wrong. It's time we do something.
No need to burden the stranger with all this nonsense.
Can we get back to business?
Sorry for all that. You're here for Kasumi, right? She headed inland to the Synth Refuge, Acadia. Getting there will be dangerous. You'll need a
I
guide.
definitely don't
Old
need a
Longfellow.
guide. It's a road.
No one knows the fog like him. But word of warning, he's a bit of an acquired taste.
Thanks for the info.
Best place to look for Longfellow's at the bar. The last plank. And, please, lend a hand around town if you're able. Even if it's slapped away. People like the Mariner and Cassie and others need help. And let me say something you might not hear again. Thank you.
Is everyone in Maine a jerk-ass? I think this is in Maine. Yeah, I'm not helping anyone. They're on their fucking own. So do I have to talk to old Longfellow? I'm just gonna fucking head to Arcadia. I'm just gonna fuck it. Why the fuck do I need to talk to this old man? Succulent. A succulent Chinese dinner. Or succulent Chinese meal, or whatever it is. That man died recently. Vim. Oh, good, right. This fucking... The fog is irradiated, so get ready to hear the Geiger counter for, like, the whole fucking DLC.
There we go.
You know, there's, like, crazy people, right? I remember now. Eldritch Wendigo. Huh.
Lucky. Next time.
Where's that Wendigo? Vim.
Got it.
Kill the Wendigo.
Shouldn't take long. Blast him.
That's it.
So anyway, back to complaining about this game. It's just, I think I've, you know, I hope I explained myself even a little bit, you know, in terms of why I find this game not that good. You know, I feel like this game would be better, not good, but better without Fallout actually existing. If this was just like Wasteland Hunter, you know, 3000 or whatever the fuck, you know, I wouldn't have, like, this game wouldn't be judged as harshly, I find. Or at least in my opinion, I wouldn't do it, because,
Awful lot of rats.
you know, like, God, now I've lost my train of thought. But if it's a series, and I know that there are good Fallout games, and so, you know, you see the good that this series can be, and then you get whatever the fuck Bethesda's making, and you go, this sucks, make stuff better.
Hell yeah.
I don't think it's gonna help, but you feel ill. Parasites, great. Gonna just live off of these weird glowing mushrooms. I'm sure it'll be good for my health. Oh wow, it's not shit up here.
Don't get too comfortable. The island's not a safe place. Need to stay on your toes.
Well, you don't actually have to fucking... what's it called? You don't have to... do whatever. You don't have to, talk to old Longfeller or old feller, or whatever the fuck his name is. Old man. Really needed a guide to follow that road for fucking 5 minutes. So this DLC is weird because you can do it without Nick Valentine, and then this scene becomes weird.
When I first climbed this mountain above the fog, I thought to myself, now here is a metaphor worth taking in. You've entered a place of clarity, understanding, peace. While you're here in Acadia, Synthkind welcomes you as long as you welcome us.
God, reading that final line, cringe. I don't know why they thought, like, oh, you know what's good? If every dialogue option has, like, a line to act like a fucking idiot.
I came here looking for Kasumi Nakano.
Really? I'm impressed. Few would
we're gonna address the Nick Valentine-shaped elephant in the room, or no?
Someone else. Kasumi is here. She's safe and unharmed, and you're free to see her if you'd like. Before you do, though, tell me, do you think Kasumi is a synth?
We're not answering any more questions until you play straight with us. Just who the hell are you, really? There's only one synth with that kind of face and a mind of his own. And I only see him when I look in a mirror.
Nick? It can't be you.
Don't give me that. What are you trying to pull? I've never seen you before in my life.
Please, if you're willing to give me a chance, I can explain.
Whatever. I don't care.
Is this a joke? Do you really know, Nick?
Let me tell you what I know, and you can judge for yourself. We were prototypes, Nick. The first synths capable of independent thinking and judgment.
Keep talking.
One of the Institute's experiments had to do with how our brains could process personality. If we could handle individualized feelings and behaviors, I was allowed to develop mine based on experience. But with you, they wanted to try transferring an entire personality into you. It took several attempts before the personality imprint worked. I saw you wake up not knowing who or what you were so many times. I couldn't let them do it to you anymore. We were the only two prototypes they made. I
find it bizarre that this game doesn't let the player do fucking anything that it doesn't want to do narratively.
Brother, Nick.
But it allows you to do this DLC without bringing Nick along.
We left together.
And to miss this entire little bit of narrative.
That's where you'd be wrong. This happened over a century ago. There's only so much memory that can fit into the prototype brains we have.
Ah, I've heard enough. I think you and I need to talk about this. Maybe not now, though.
We'll talk later. This is a lot to take in.
Nick, I don't need you to believe me. I'm just glad to see you again. Whenever you're ready, I'll be here. Now, about young Kasumi. It's important that you understand exactly why she's here. I asked you before if you think she's really a synth. If you could indulge me with an answer.
Fuck you, she's human.
She's human. And she has a family waiting for her.
But imagine what it means if you're wrong.
But I'm not.
If Kasumi is a synth, then she doesn't have a family. She never had one. Think about how she must feel. None of us take this.
What the fuck are you talking about? That's such a fucking stupid view.
The possibility of her entire life being a lie. That someone stripped her very
that actually fucking pisses me off. She's human, she has a family. And then it's like, well, what if she isn't human? She doesn't have a family. She's never had a family. That's such an insane view. Where... and see, here's the thing, is that, like... I don't believe that the character Dima believes that. I believe that the writer thinks that that is somehow profound, which is bizarre to me. That, because I just immediately think, like, you could replace that thing of like, okay, but what if this person was an orphan? And if they figured out they were an orphan and they were adopted, they've never had a family then. And it's like, well, what about the people who have taken them in? Like, that's the thing. That's the bizarre thing where even if she was a synth, she still has a family, and that there are two people who treat her as their daughter, as if they're, you know, she's their flesh and blood. Because that's what they think. And they love each other and they care for each other because they're a family. This what insane view of, like, it's funny because that's like one of the most common tropes in media is the idea of you find family wherever you can kind of thing.
Identity from her and made her into something she isn't. I want you to understand that before you see her. She has a chance here to live as a synth, not hiding, not pretending to be something else. One more question, if you'll indulge me. You're here for Kasumi, but I suspect there could be another reason you came.
I also want to ask.
Tell me, are you a synth?
No.
I'm a human being, not a synth.
Are you sure? I don't mean to question you, but
I feel like this is so weird. This entire place, it feels like a gaslight factory. They're fucking just like trying to trick people. It's like, I'm a human. It's like, are you sure? It's like, I'm a human. Oh, are you sure? But like, oh, trust. No, you're not. You're actually a synth. Think about it. And it's like, join our weird cult on the top of a mountain.
what's the first memory you have?
You're treading on very personal territory. Back off.
Okay. You're not ready to have this.
You piece of shit. You're not ready to have this conversation. What a cunt. I'm sorry. I hate that shit.
Or human.
You know, like, that's a fucking, I think that's a vile way of, like, you know, you touch on something that's maybe very, very personal to someone, and you're, like, actually going down to try to be like, he asked a question about, like, oh, maybe your entire life is bullshit and a lie, and you're not actually who you say you
I'm
are.
not a synth.
And
end of discussion.
You go, fuck off, asshole. I don't want to talk to you about this. And he goes, oh, you're not ready for this discussion. See, the way that someone says that, they frame it as if the person who has an issue there, the person who treaded over a line was you, or you are the one at fault that by saying, oh, you're not ready for this. When no, asshole, who the fuck are you? We just met 5 minutes ago and you're asking me all this personal shit. Get fucked.
Acadia is open to you. Feel free to walk the grounds. Introduce yourself to my co-founders, Faraday and Chase. Kasumi is usually working down below, whenever you wish to see her. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before you go?
No, fuck you. The Institute's been destroyed.
You should know. The Institute has been destroyed.
What? It's over? No more courser hunts? No more slavery? But that also means the technology to make the synths is lost. Our origins have been buried. Not to mention the loss of human life. Sorry. I'm not going to judge the actions of someone who's wiped out a great evil. You have our gratitude. Is there anything else you need?
I'm from the Enclave and I hate you.
I should get going.
Actually, no, the Enclave doesn't really... The Enclave doesn't really care too much about the synths, to be fair. Can I just do this?
Are you feeling all right?
Nope.
You were in there a long time. Are you feeling all right?
I'm fine. You worry too much.
Do you think...
Sometimes I feel like you don't worry enough.
Do you think Bethesda will ever make another RPG that doesn't have a like an essential flag? Do you think they'll ever do that again? Or do you think it's going to always be just like, well, we just gotta make we can't trust the players to be able to fucking and kill everyone? You know, I get it. You know, it's funny because it's like it starts. It starts, I think, in like a good place. The essential flag. I think I can see a rationale for the essential flag of making it so that certain characters can't die because they're key to the story. I can see that making sense when you have cases like the games are getting more complex. There's a big world.
Perfect.
There's a lot of different moving parts, and it can be easy for an NPC who is, or that there is the greater potential for an NPC that is important to a story element dying completely outside of the player's control. Like they just, you know, they're just dead. They've been killed by someone or something.
Yes.
They should have bought a better lock.
And you would want to avoid that because you don't want it so that like players get along, you know, to a certain point and it's like, oh, you've lost because this character you've never interacted with before has died due to something outside of the player's even knowledge. I see that is a legitimate sort of reason to institute something like an essential system. But then from there, it just keeps, it's just like feature creep where it's like, well, now we, you know, it's like every character has, or so many characters have to be labeled essential because we don't want the player breaking the story now, do we?
You want me to take a look at that terminal?
Nice.
You know, we don't want the player breaking, you know, you know, deviating from the path because that, you know, it's like, okay, well, because you no longer have to have, if it's like a case of like, okay, well, character is key to the story, they're marked essential. That's just like a rule. You no longer have to have the discussion when you're building the game or quests. You don't have to have the thing of like, well, what if the player just shoots this NPC? You don't have to think of the effects of like, well, shit, okay, let's say like the player now killed this NPC, so how do these stories change? Because it's not only that character's story, it's any story that they've been involved with. You know, like for example, if I just was able to kill Dima there, how do you progress the rest of the story? Like, do you just fail the player outright and say, well, that's it, you've made your decision? Or do you make it so that there's another way of completing things? Is, you know, what about, I mean, do you fail out all of the other quests that involve that character or related to it? You know, it's a lot of stuff you have to think about. So what's an easier thing to do? Oh, just make it so you can't do it. It's like, well, what if the player tries to shoot this person? Well, it doesn't matter because they're essential.
The key.
We have removed any possibility of the player ruining the game by, you know, like in some way, or ruining this quest or fucking something up narratively by just making it so you can't kill them.
Kasumi Nakano?
Sorry, I'm right in the middle of something.
So there's a funny thing about this character that's kind of unrelated to the game itself, but there is a famous, I guess, one of the most popular mods. I mean, not popular, one of the most visually changing mods for Fallout 4 is one that makes the characters look like anime characters. Like, I mean, like anime, not like just, oh, anime featured. I mean, like, they look like anime. They have, like, it's actually impressive in terms of how it looks. And the story is that the guy who developed that mod was playing Far Harbor, and he heard Kasume's voice on the radio and was like, oh, she sounds so nice and all that. And then when he saw what she actually looked like by default, he was like, ew, I want to make her nicer looking. And so he made a mod that just makes people anime because of this, how fucking ugly he thought this character looked. To be fair, this isn't how she looks by default. There is something in this mod pack that does change some of the
I'm a detective.
the ways that alters the way the NPCs look a little bit.
You're a what? You came all this way for me?
You left without telling your folks why. You must have known they'd be worried.
Look, my mom and dad, I mean, those people that were taking care of me, they wouldn't want me back. Not if they knew the truth.
Kasume, listen to me. You're not a daughter. You're not a daughter. You're a synth. You're not a synth. I know this because I've killed you and I've seen in your inventory that you don't have a synth component.
I've thought about that. How you can never really know. But it just answers so many questions. I thought if I just left, it would be easier for them. How would that conversation have gone anyway? I've been lying.
Why can't they make like a synth detector? There should be a way to detect synths.
I replaced her?
A fucking Gaius Balthar can make a Cylon detector.
Kasumi, I think you're just confused. Everyone has doubts about who they are sometimes. That's part of life.
I really wish that was true. If I wasn't a synth, things would be so much simpler. Acadia isn't what I thought it was. There's more going on here than just the refuge. But I can't leave until I've gotten to the bottom of it. I've been running long enough.
If something's going on, then I can help. Just tell me what's happening.
I don't know how you could. Wait. Wait, of course you can help. You find things, track down answers. That's what you do, right? That's why you came after me. What if I told you that there's a secret? A big secret here, on this island. Something way more important than just one lost girl.
All right. I'm listening.
Okay. Where to begin? You saw all those computers that Dima's hooked up to, right? They hold his memories, or offload data from his brain. Or maybe some combination of both? Well, Faraday asked me to help do some repairs on them, and, you know, I got curious. There's like a century's worth of life experiences in there. And that's when I see it. Data models Dima has been making. One was the fog taking over Far Harbor. Another was a nuclear detonation on the island. Plus, death counts. What if Dima is so open and welcoming because he's actually hiding something from us? A plan to wipe out...
This woman is paranoid.
We should get to the bottom of this. If Dima is putting on an act, we need to know.
I'll help if I can, but...
Why didn't they show Nick when he talked there?
I know. I've been working on that, but I haven't had much luck. I keep seeing Dima, Faraday, and Chase head into the laboratory at the other end of the hall. Then they come out later looking like they've been arguing. There's actually a storage space right next to there. It'd be a perfect spot to hide and eavesdrop.
Oh, I've already lockpicked that.
But it's been locked up. I've also tried breaking into Faraday's terminal, since he and Dima are so close, but the security on it is crazy.
I'll figure this out. Just stay here.
Okay. Good luck, and come back as soon as you've found anything.
From one case to a new one. It's never easy for us, is it?
So, it's interesting. Far Harbor, has more optional objectives than most of the base game. The reason being is that I believe the project lead behind this was Will Shen. Will Shen was also the, Will Shen was also the guy who did the quest with the USS Constitution. The only quest in the... Oh my god, excuse me. Oh, the coffee's killing me. Oh, Jesus, I'm dead. It was the only quest in the game that has a skill check.
We need to accomplish this without bloodshed. Far Harbor and the Children of Adam have a right to exist on this island, the same as us.
They're going to kill each other, Dima. There's no stopping it. We need to pick a side now.
Haven't we already picked a side? Building the fog condensers around Far Harbor wasn't exactly a neutral act.
We couldn't stand by and let the people of this island die to the fog.
Just like you couldn't just leave the Cult of Adam without a home? Giving them the submarine base was a mistake. The nucleus, as they're calling it, is basically one big fortified position.
Far Harbor had cast them out. They have strange beliefs, but they have always accepted us for what we are. And Confessor Martin was a friend.
Well, the new Confessor isn't. High Confessor Tectus is an unstable megalomaniac, and he's gonna keep threatening us as long as we're helping Far Harbor.
Guys, can we talk about the elephant in the room? We keep dancing around it.
My old memory banks in the submarine base.
I can't believe you never told me about those. I have to wait until they become a security risk.
I know how it looks in hindsight. But at the time, it was an act of trust. I was honestly more worried they'd accidentally trip the pre-war security and get hurt, giving the children my old home, allowing them to safeguard my old memories. I thought our people would be working together.
Just how secure are the banks? How long do we have? And what's in them?
I've gone over this before, Chase. I don't know what's in them. That's how it works. It's as close to forgetting something as I have. But I've run some projections of worst-case scenarios. If we do nothing and the wrong knowledge falls in the wrong hands...
So send me over there. I'll be in and out in a day.
We can't risk it. They know you're from Acadia. If you're caught, or even seen, then it's war.
We should at least prepare her to go in. We're running out of options. I say we tell her how to crack into the memory banks.
This man's ears are very big.
You've been working on this without me?
It came up in a private moment, Chase. But yes, we've been writing a program that will let you access and download my memories. It's not going to be like a normal hack. You'll be breaking through a version of my own mental network. It'll consider you to be an intruder. I've loaded the program with some instructions I've recorded that will help guide you through it. I'm afraid it's difficult to explain without seeing it for yourself.
I'm finishing up some tweaks to the program right now. I'll leave a copy of it for you on my desk when I'm done.
Get the program, use it to break into the memory banks. Got it.
Hopefully you won't have to. We'll keep monitoring the situation. I only want you going in if we have no other choice.
It's weird. That's like one of the few times it's like you could say that it's like it's kind of like a cutscene.
Hey, you mind keeping an eye out for a second? Gotta run a diagnostic. Whew. Thanks. What'd I miss?
Can I break into his terminal still?
Excellent.
So much knowledge.
Nice.
Lost when the bombs hit. It's good to see someone trying to bring it back.
Hey, Dima, you giant asshole. Actually, wait, can I just go steal his memories? Attack the Dima, report back to go back to Kasume. Hello.
Turns out Dima's earliest memories are in the hands of the children of Adam. He's afraid of what they're going to find.
So, is that what those death projections were about? It wasn't Dima planning to destroy the island. He's worried the children of Adam will.
Yeah, the children of Adam are people that you should just shoot on sight. They're absolutely fucking insane.
What could be in those memories that he would leave them behind? Is there really something in them that's dangerous? Do you have a way in? Into his memories? Assuming you can
is there any way, is there any like logic to why is there any rationale that they give of why the children of the Atom don't all die horribly from radiation sickness?
Really? How would that work? When I was taking a peek in the computers he has here, Dima was hooked up to his chair. I was just tapping into it. I wonder if you'll need to, you know, connect to the old banks the way he does? Some kind of connection between your head and the computer. Oh, but that's it. And then Faraday's program would be translating Dima's thoughts and data, helping you through any security guarding it. I'm sorry, I'm making assumptions. It's just...
What the fuck?
A little exciting, isn't it? You'll let me know what you find? I'll keep an eye on things here.
From the Fallout Wiki.
I'll get Dima's memories, and then we'll
Where is it? Let me find it. I lost
things
it.
From there.
Good luck.
From the Fallout Wiki. From the Fallout Wiki, some children exhibit congenital immunity to radiation. What? That's like saying someone has immunity to fire. Like, that doesn't work like that.
Sure. Ask away.
It's just, with everything that's happened with you and your family, it's a whole hell of a lot to process. I wanted to make sure you're holding up all right.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Huh. You're a tougher nut than I thought. Tougher than I was. Took me a long
Oh god,
time.
I don't care,
Thank
Nick. I
goodness
genuinely
it
don't care,
was
Nick.
the
I'm
mask
sorry.
plenty, but at the time,
Broken mask?
I didn't mean to click that shit.
Yes, he didn't when secure. See, that was
Why'd they let you in?
because I'd rescued the gal of about 15. The young. Turns out I took her home.
Man, ooh, this is so.
Was it hard?
Why did I
Right.
say yes to this conversation with this
After-
character I don't give a shit about? Oh my lord. Nick, do you want to talk about, like, no, actually, I don't care. What are we doing? Okay. This is dealing with the children of the atom. I believe. Are synths immune to radiation? That's a question too. Are synths immune to radiation? Because wouldn't that be a way to test if a person is a synth? Because why wouldn't they be immune to radiation? Granted, I know that in reality, radiation can, the strong enough radiation can short out circuitry and stuff like that, and essentially like destroy stuff. Like back during Chernobyl, the Chernobyl disaster, they tried to use robots for certain tasks, and in the areas where the radiation was exceptionally severe, the robots just died. They just fried their circuitry. But let's say you had like low-level radiation. You want to test that someone is a synth, so you expose someone to like a low-level dose of radiation, enough to get them sick. You know, so someone, you know, okay, they give them a dose, and then in however many hours, days, they develop symptoms of low-level radiation poisoning. They have nausea, vomiting, all that sort of stuff. If a synth is immune to that, they wouldn't show that up. That wouldn't show up on them. Like, are synths immune to radiation? Also. I don't know, I feel like the synth thing is one of those things that that Bethesda really didn't think through in terms of setting up. It's like someone watched Battlestar Galactica and said, why don't we put that in the next Fallout game? Why don't we just put Cylons in the next Fallout game? Because there's a lot of questions that there's a lot of things that would pop up with synths, especially ones that are around for like a really long time. You know, like, if your synth is there for like, okay, you're doing a synth infiltration and it's going to be around for maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, that's not that bad because people won't have time to ask questions. But for other ones, let's say there's a synth and it's going to be there for a long time, maybe years. Do synths age? Do they die of old age? Are they immune to sickness? Are they immune to radiation, as we've said? Can they heal normally? Is there anything... Are they able to... Let's say, if they function in a similar way to a human, let's say they have a... Oh my god, that's a behemoth. Okay, let's say let's say you have a synth who is very severely injured. They've lost a lot of blood. Can you give them human blood? You know, like, can I give a synth some human ammo? I saw ammo in here and I said ammo. Can you give a synth some human blood and it will just like be fine? You know, if it needs a transfusion. Can you give a synth, let's say a synth needs an organ transplant, because let's say they get into an accident and oh no, their liver has been destroyed. Can you give them a human liver? Can a synth can a synth reproduce? You know, are they fully functional in some way? They can't. No fucking way, right? There's no way. God, this fog is... This is the most volumetric fog I've ever seen. I can feel it, the volume. I feel like I'm playing like a really, really old game with like the draw distance set really low. Hey guys, look at me, I'm finally playing Morrowind on stream. Easy joke. What the fuck is that? Is that just like a... I can't tell if that's a building or a giant... It's a building. I thought it was like a person. I thought that was like a mech. We can't see shit, Captain. Oh god, you know what I might actually have to do? I have in here somewhere, settings. True Storms weather controls. Rad fog deadly. Far Harbor. Clear, please. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. I can see again. If you complain, you know, I'm gonna say it. I played so much of this game at night or in shitty weather that I'm done with it. I feel like 9 times out of 10, I'd go to a place and it's like, oh, by the way, it's a fucking thunderstorm at midnight. Great. I don't know why the trees are wigging out. The nucleus.
Please, you can't do this. We've been
Grand zealot to you, and your dedication is coming in doubt. You need to prove your faith. One of you may return to the fold. The other will return to Adam.
Richter, this is insane. You can't expect us to...
Will there be anything else?
That'll be all, sister.
I wonder, do I have... Can I just... I don't negotiate with the children of the Atomy. So, if you don't want to do this, what you do instead is you do this stupid bullshit drug trip where you drink from like severely irradiated water and you have to follow like a fucking ghost to find this bullshit. How about fuck no? I hate drug trips in video games. They're tedious and boring. I'm just going to we're gonna take care of the children of the Atom my way. Actually, wait 1 second. New window. Yeah. I got an idea. 1 second. It's gonna take me way too long to set this up, and it's not gonna be worth it. What is game sound capture under application audio capture? Browser. How loud is this? You can guess what I'm doing. Actually, volume up. We need this louder. Oh shit, I just closed off of... really loud, actually. I'm gonna turn this down. I got inside their fucking sub to shoot more of them.
I need to jump shoes.
I think we've run out of people to shoot. Yeah, that was worth it. Oh, fuck the Children of Adam so hard. They fucking suck. Yes, the cult of radiation worshipping lunatics can fucking live peacefully with the community of fishermen, of just peaceful fishermen. I'm sure, Dima. God, the Rebel Path is like fucking high tier soundtrack. It's gonna be really fun to play Cyberpunk after this, because I am gonna play Cyberpunk, not like tonight, but like I am going to in the upcoming weeks play Cyberpunk. Once there's a bit of a lull, once I'm done with SWOTOR, once I'm done with Deus Ex, and once I'm done with Space Marine, which comes out next week, I'm probably gonna, I'll probably, when those start kind of tailing off, I'll start weaving in Cyberpunk streams. I'm gonna take some rat away. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that hurts. Nick, do something.
Somebody find me something to shoot at!
Jesus, fuck, that actually scared me. For the longest time, I thought Mr. Gutsy, I thought it was pronounced I thought it was Mr. Gusty. I thought I called them Mr. Gusties when I first played Fallout 3. I have a bad habit of seeing a word and reading it too quickly and not seeing how it's actually spelt, and then mispronouncing it, and then it just gets stuck. Like, that pronunciation is just how I pronounce it until I slow down and read it again, or someone else points out, like, it's wrong. You're pronouncing it wrong. I think it happens a lot too with words that are never said, but you see, like, you read the word, but you never ever say it. You never hear it said in person. Like, I think of what am I thinking of? Something like when it comes to dealing. What's the word for horses? Stuff to deal with, like horses. Equestrian. I thought it was like equestrian or something like that. Like, I couldn't pronounce. I didn't know how to say it once previously, and my sister had done years ago some stuff with horses. She had won some ribbons for like participating in certain things, equestrian things with horses, like riding them and doing shit like that. And I saw one of her ribbons one day, and I said, "Oh, if I said it wrong," and she corrected me, equestrian, and I'm like, "Yes, I have never heard that word actually said." Boy, it was the egg on my face. Oh my God, it's been an hour and a half already. So, this is one of the parts that everyone hates of this DLC. You have to do. They made this stupid fucking virtual reality tower defense shit that is terrible and awful and terrible and awful, and no one likes it at all ever. And so what I did before the stream started is I installed a mod that allows you to skip it. No, I got to turn the power on.
AO compromised. Enemy has fled the combat zone. Stand.
Ow.
Green suntan, I suggest we get a move on.
I despise how the robots explode. Alright, so now you have to get his memories. So, I add the mod, and I should do bat, puzzles. Done. I'm not doing that fucking tower defense bullshit. Trespassing. All the children of the atom are dead. I'm actually kind of surprised the game let me do that. Genuinely surprised. When we were first outside, and there's those group of children of Adam, I was genuinely the named one. I thought he was going to be immune, and it was just going to be like, haha, get fucked. You have to do the stupid quest for the Atom cultists. You don't. You genuinely do not.
Memory file identification 0V-9.
So I'm guessing I can go back to Dima if the quest didn't break, please. Because there's no quest marker, which makes me scared. God, the rebel path is so good. So I was just thinking about Patrician TV's Skyrim review, or not Skyrim, Starfield review, and he was showing clips of him also playing Cyberpunk, and he was talking about how it's like compared to Cyberpunk with like the Phantom Liberty, it's like he compared playing Cyberpunk with its update in Phantom Liberty after playing Starfield as the equivalent of being exceptionally thirsty and having a big drink of cold water.
You're new here too, huh?
Desmond, Dima, whatever the fuck your name is.
Dima?
What have you done?
By attacking the children of Adam, you tipped their zealotry over the edge.
There's no hope for peace now. What did you find in my memory banks?
Peace was never an option for the children of the Atom. I was going to kill them anyway.
Well, I know you left some of your memories behind in an old submarine base. That you're worried the children of Adam will get to them.
You've been busy. I was hoping you were taking your time learning
Yeah, okay,
more.
great. I don't care.
Maybe this is an opportunity for both of us.
Well, it's a bit late for that. What? I think I might have fucked this up.
I'm listening.
Before I begin, how much do you know? Did you have any...
I know all I need to.
Then my plan is simple.
Oh my god, I sequence broke hard.
In the old command.
He's still telling me to go fucking go get the memories. Done.
Actually, I already have the problem.
Well, one more thing before you.
If we find any...
Wow, I fucking sequence broke. Okay, so that's done already.
Hey,
now?
Dima.
Yes. What is it?
Oh no, did I fucking break it? Oh no. I might have broken it. I might have actually broken the scripting of the quest because I didn't talk to Dima before I went off to get the memories. I got the memories and I also killed all the children of Adam. I'm gonna maybe just like hope like I can sleep it for like a little bit. Maybe if I just like leave the area and come back, he might reset or move on to the next state. Oopsie doopsies. Otherwise it'll last like 20 minutes. Go down the toilet. See, that's what I mean, is that, like, talking about how these games don't let you fucking do anything they don't expect, is that even in Far Harbor, where there is a little bit more freedom, a little bit more wiggle room, and allowing the player to do stupid shit, you're still forced to, you know, you did all this, you still have to go talk to Dima before, you know, instead of just being like, oh, well, go fucking, ribeye steak, I'll eat that. You know, instead of just going off.
Excellent.
Look at all this vim. I'm pretty sure the vim is supposed to be... Vim is inspired by, I think, a drink from New England called Moxie, I believe. Behind the scenes, Vim is a reference to the real-world beverage Moxie, the official state beverage of Maine. The Captain's Blend slogan is "The taste of Maine in a bottle" is identical to Moxie's slogan. That's one thing I'd like to try. I want to go to places and try weird regional sodas. I always like, one of my favorite things to do, not favorite things to do, but one of the things I like to do whenever I go to a drugstore, like a general store, I guess you would call it. Maybe not a general store, but like a drugstore or a gas station that has like a big drinks fridge. I like to get something weird, something I've never tried before. And I want to, if I ever do like a thing, like a road trip or something, go try weird regional beverages.
Dima?
Feel free to say whatever is on your mind.
I fucked it up. I've actually fucked up this quest. I can't progress. All right, we're gonna have to start looking for console commands. Fallout, best left, forgotten. Okay, it just didn't. Fallout, best left. I hit the fucking thing and it just didn't even search for it. Best left, forgotten, soft lock. Oh, I guess I might have to listen to each of them. That might be it. Oh, boy.
Things are not going well with...
There we go. Okay, there we go. Yes, that's it. Yes.
Memory file identification. Memory file identification. Memory file identification. Memory file identification.
All right, there we go. That was it. All right, we want to go to the medical facility so we can blackmail Dima, and the other place so we can get the nuke codes and blow up the nucleus. Because fuck the children of Adam. More like children of... children of good jokes. Insert good jokes here. We get to go to the Vim facility, the Vim Pop factory. Yay! Bottles and bottles of Vim. What does that Moxie drink taste like? Sweet soda is similar to root beer, but with a bitter aftertaste. Alright, that's weird. Another fucking time where I'm not gonna suffer through this fucking weather. Harbor. Oh my god, I can fucking see. Like, I don't mind if it's a bit fucking rainy, but like constant, like, oh, rad storms, when there's already fucking radioactive fog everywhere in this island. The weather's already fucking changing. No. Oh, wrong one. Oh, I hate this animation so fucking much. I don't even know what I just clicked on. What is that? Fog-touched Kraken. It's fucking dead now. The weather was clear for like 40 seconds. Fog heavy. How about clear and it stays like that? Supermutants. Because as we know, supermutants have to be everywhere in Fallout. Why can't I pick up my gun? Hello, gun.
What? Who's there?
Vim.
Out there! Somewhere! Down there!
Vim, no Vim. Got to kill 1,000. Vim refresh.
Sweet. Bingo.
Vim.
I hear something.
Where's this the last one? So where's Nick?
Stupid noises.
Nick's just like lost. Lost in the fucking sauce. Like again, I've been inside for like 3 minutes and gets a rad storm again. Rad storm instantly.
A noise.
I thought that was a guy. It's power armor.
No fight today. No green stuff here.
Noticing a severe lack of Vim in this Vim factory. He's just chilling in the pool.
You can't hide forever. You hear? You hear? Stop hiding. I can smell you out there, little sneak. Slippery humans. Come out, wherever you are.
Pump regulator.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hi, Nick. Nice of you to fucking show up. Okay, think we're clear.
Inside, you got,
Come on, where's all the Vim? The fuck are you? Are you a gecko? Yeah.
Yes.
You're out, I'm in. People want more Vim. So I know what's behind here. It's a behemoth. Single shot in the back, behemoth dead. we'll say the stealth in Fallout games has never been particularly deep in terms of its mechanics, but after playing Intravenous 2, it feels like dummy easy. Point and shoot, point and shoot, point and shoot. They don't like the Nuka-Cola. Vim. There's so little Vim in this factory. I want a whole case of Vim. I've gotten myself turned around and I don't know where I am.
Someone there?
Nope. Oh, caught the sneeze before I sneezed into the microphone. Sweet roll. Vim, now with 30% less lead. Vim, it's good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you shart. Excuse me. I don't like snuffling into the mic. It's just I do it unintentionally. I have to pause the mic and go snuffle. One sec. Oh, you're so glad you didn't hear that. Oh, that hurt. That could have actually fucking killed me. I really don't like the way the super mutants look in this game. That's one. Again, some of the designs in Fallout 4 are weird. I feel like the super mutants look too fucking like they don't look strong and intimidating anymore. Like they were made as super soldiers for the fucking master, or at least the original ones were. They were fucking giant meat houses. These guys always just look like lumpy potatoes. You know, they just don't look anywhere near as strong as the other ones. Oh, hello the back of Nick's head.
Ground floor.
Alright, if I remember correctly, Dima replaced Avery with a synth.
Is it going to be painful?
Life detected. Scanning.
Yes. It's
If you need assistance, please approach the intercom.
And replaced with something else.
You're Geiger counter doing cartwheels too?
I'm ready. I wish I could say goodbye to everyone.
No one else can know. This isn't just about infiltrating Far Harbor. It's about becoming the human that synths drawn here need to meet. Reasonable. Willing to accept them as just another living thing. No greater or lesser than humanity itself. You'll be part of the bridge between our two worlds. That all vanishes the moment anyone discovers that it's been manufactured. That you're a synth.
Did she have to die? The woman I'm replacing? God, she looks so peaceful lying there.
Don't. Please. That blood is on my hands, not yours.
Dima's no better than the fucking Institute. He's doing the same thing the Institute does. Replacing people, killing them, killing people and replacing them with synths. He's done it once, but doing it and rationalizing it as, oh, it's for the greater good.
Scanning. Approved user detected. Synth prototype. Unlocking medical
This thing
area
knows
door.
what I am? How? Just who are you?
I am Kai 1.1, a computer intelligence designed to control medical facilities, specifically the room through that door. You match all specifications for an approved user. Personally speaking, they were very narrow.
This must be Dima's handiwork. Guess he never thought another.
I never knew that you
prototype
can actually
synth
get
would
through
be
this
on
door
the
by
own.
bringing
Might
Nick
as
along.
well
That's
grab
neat.
anything useful we
That's a
find
neat
in
little
there.
thing. Otherwise, you have to usually pass a charisma check. Which, to be fair, there's really nothing interesting. December's Child. What is this?
Hell yeah.
Huh. It's neat. It's the same gun I'm using. Alright, well, I have the same gun. .25 faster fire load, faster reload. Neat. Okay, bye. Let's go get the nuclear codes.
Ground floor.
It is a weird thing that, like, I don't remember setting off many nukes in the original Fallout 1 or 2. And I don't think you really do it, you don't do it in New Vegas either. But for some reason in the Bethesda Fallouts, they love having you set off nukes, big and small. Megaton in 3. You could argue that the end of destroying the Institute in 4. You can blow up the nucleus here. It's detonating a nuke in Far Harbor. Fucking nukes are a central loop of the gameplay in fucking 76. Going into the silos, launching nukes to summon boss events. It's just very strange because, I don't know, nukes bad? It would be like having a story where the main, like a post-apocalyptic story where the main thing that destroyed the world was like a virus, and then having a gameplay mechanic or events in the gameplay, more than one, where the player releases a virus. Fucking constant fucking rain. I do think the weather in Far Harbor it does lean, like I think whatever controls the weather, it does lean harder into the rain, but it's fucking obnoxious. It's fucking obnoxious because of how mods handle weather, where it can be more, it's not the game's fault, but like by default, but like the mods handle the weather differently, where there's a lot more particle effects, it lasts longer, there's a lot more visual, like just it makes it harder to actually play, and that's cool once in a while, but then when it happens constantly, it's like, okay, I'd like to be able to see further than 3 feet for like 5 minutes. Please cool it with the fucking weather effects. It's funny because when you alter the true storm's weather during a storm, sometimes you still hear, like I can still hear the thunder. I don't know how well that's coming through. And again, it looks like the weather's about to fucking change again, or maybe it's just the sun setting. I think I just heard a railway rifle. What the fuck was that? Legendary rad hammer? What the fuck? Well, it's dead now. Like, again, it's back to fucking Radstorm. Stop! I'm so upset with this fucking weather. Stop. I'd like to... 2 minutes, not even. Fucking... Actually, you know what? Maybe if I switch it to something that isn't, like, clear. Just, like, rain. I want rain. Just rain. Thank you. I'd rather have this than fucking constant rad storms and fog. Feral Waste Wolf. Oh my god, look at that fucking thing. It's like a werewolf almost. Look at that thing. That whatever, I think it's called like Mutant Menagerie or some shit. I don't know what the actual mod is called, but it's the one that's been adding all these really fucking crazy like monster animals.
Conductor at the orchestra.
Really like it. I like that mod. That's really neat. A lot of them really are cool. Some of them are a bit wild, and they do seem to be prolific in terms of like, there's a lot of them. But for the most part, I think it's a good mod. Fucking far. Is it this place up ahead? Yeah, it is. Okay. I really liked Far Harbor when it first came out. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for new worlds or new lands in DLCs. I always like that. I feel like so much of good open world games is the exploration, is being able to have a new place in the first time feeling of being able to, you know, I'm going to a place for the first time, and you know, seeing something cool, seeing something new in the world for the first time is one of the things I like the most in these kind of games. You know, the first time experience is really it's unique, and so I enjoy that sort of stuff. It's why like I think it's a good DLC also. Shadow of the Erd Tree. Really like, it was really fun exploring a new area of the Elden Ring world. I really liked. I was really impressed with the default Elden Ring in terms of what it added, like exploring that world and finding stuff that some players might have never actually found is really cool. I like that about that game quite a bit, is that there are things in Elden Ring that a player could miss. You know, if you don't do certain things, you could miss things. And it continued into the DLC as well. Where there are things in the DLC for Elden Ring you might not find. Like if you're playing completely, you're not looking at any resources, you're not using any guides or any help, you're not watching anyone else's playthrough, you could miss certain areas because it's easy to, it's just a big world and it's a lot easy to look at this fucking dude. And it's easy to just miss shit. Yeah, I'm gonna get this launch key and blow. We already killed all the children of Adam, but now we're gonna go back to the nucleus and destroy it.
So boring.
All these fucking super mutants are so overdramatic. This guy was going for a fucking Oscar with how he died. Holding his fucking gut and everything. I've been shot. I am dying. Oh, no, no, no. Fuck. I didn't know that was a fucking...
Someone there! Someone there?
Where am I going? Why can't I get to this other side of this fucking hotel? Come on. Every fucking hallway is blocked. That leads outside. That leads nowhere. Where am I going? Ah, here we go. This is what they call visual storytelling. You see, the gnome is taking a shit. Safe room.
Hey! Hands where I can see them. Now, where is the key?
Franny, Put the gun down. What exactly do you think you're going to accomplish?
My job. You're going to give me that key, and I'm going to get paid.
Paid? The world's over. Are you really... Ah!
That's it.
Scream
Rotting
all you
hell.
want, Arnie. Everyone's been evacuated. It's just we can do this all day. Now focus. Where is the key?
Fine.
Got it.
Now, so long, Captain. Was that so
Why
hard?
is
Where
this-
the hell's the release to this door?
Sorry, Franny. You're stuck with me.
Captain Arnold Wabash was a fucking Chad. This lady is like, the world is ending, and she's like, I want to get paid, and fucking shoots him, and then is like, I'm gonna escape because I'm a bitch, and then he fucking shoots her in the back, and then he has one, like, he even fucking gives a one-liner before he fucking dies. I have not seen one of these robots in the load screen. Miss Weldy? I have not seen one of these in 36 hours of playing this game. Guess gonna fast travel back to the Vim Pop factory to get there quicker.
Your Geiger counter doing...
No, Nick, my Geiger counter is not doing cartwheels.
Cartwheels too?
Vim. Tastes like glue. Yeah, I'll sleep in the tent. Is there gonna be something stupid like you can't sleep for more than 2 hours in a tent? Yes, as we know, you can't sleep for more than 3 hours in a sleeping bag. It's just not possible. People have never gone camping because it's just impossible to sleep for more than 3 hours in a sleeping bag. You just, after 3 hours, you just wake up. People have never spent the whole night in a sleeping bag. Like, come on. Are we fucking trying to joke? You want to tell me that it's possible to sleep in a sleeping bag for a whole night? I just don't believe you.
Your last stand. Someone's coming. Walk away.
Bees. Meyer lurks. Oh no.
Something out.
Pale ghoul shark. Got it.
Detection system must be on the fritz.
I'm gonna do so much without telling Dima. I'm gonna come back to Dima and be like, "Hey, Dima, you're a piece of shit." Hey, Dima, you're a piece of shit. You're just as bad as the Institute. You killed a bunch of people, or you killed a person and replaced them with a synth.
I don't think we're alone.
Also, I blew up the Children of the Atom. Suck my dick. I wonder, they're all going to be dead inside, unfortunately, right? They're not going to respawn? Because if they respawn, that would be another chance to, ooh, well, maybe. Well. I wish I didn't delete it. Delete the setting on, I had set up for fucking OBS. Application audio capture. Get fucked, you stupid radiation cultist assholes. That was very satisfying. Let's go say hi to Dima and confront him about being a horrible piece of shit. Oh, see, it didn't take that long to go through Far Harbor. 2.5 hours, and 40 minutes of that was me complaining. Hello, Dima. I have your memories. Also, all the children of Adam are dead.
Hey, Dima.
I saw the atomic blast from here. Felt it shake the island.
Fucking damn right.
What have you done? For all of their faults, the children of Adam did not deserve nuclear annihilation.
Honestly, I just wanted to see them burn. They were crazy. Someone had to stop them before they commit. You don't get to lecture me, Dima. I made a decision while you were cowering on this mountain.
Don't turn this on me. I haven't destroyed an entire people. Did their existence mean so little to you?
Yes.
tired. And what's done is done. Was there anything else?
Your memories.
Your memories led me to a gravesite. You killed Captain Avery and replaced her with a synth so you could control Far Harbor.
What? That's impossible. Let me see what you found. I did it. I killed a woman from Far Harbor and replaced her. I stripped a synth's identity from her and made her an agent.
You're a fraud.
You're a fraud.
Maybe you're right. The compromises I've made, all without even knowing.
See, that's the thing, is that you can argue that Dima's a piece of even bigger piece of shit in that
we have to keep this secret from Far Harbor.
He did something horrible that is completely against his ethics, his ethos of Arcadia. Something that the Institute does.
And then without us,
and then unable to live with the guilt, he took those memories out.
Everyone will die.
You know, it was such a thing where it's like a human doesn't get to do that, Dima. A human has to live with that for the rest of their life. They don't get to fucking just, you know, take out their fucking USB stick and be like, oh, don't remember any of that.
I know this.
Whatever.
I'll keep your secret.
I'm gonna say, you'll live with it, you piece of shit.
Guilt.
You're gonna live with it. I'm not letting you get off easy by dying.
I promise you, as long as Far Harbor stands, I will make sure that Arcadia does everything to make up for my crimes. The island will be a better place with both our people.
See, again, and that's the thing, is that this is like the best ending for them, because Arcadia isn't crazy that much. Far Harbor just wants to live. The real fucking sore thumb was the fucking children of Adam. They're psychopaths. Now we gotta convince fucking lady to go home. Lady, I'm here to tell you to go home. You're not a synth.
Hey, Kasumi.
That explosion. It was you, wasn't it? You used something in Dima's memories to destroy the children of Adam.
You're not actually upset that they're
You're
gone.
not actually upset that they're gone, are you?
It's not that, it's just... all those people. They were crazy, but did they have to die?
Well, you don't have to worry about it.
I guess it doesn't
I
matter.
shot them all. It
Hey,
wasn't
listen.
the nuke that killed them.
So...
The nuke was just
when you
me
first showed up,
burying them.
You came to get me. To bring me home. I've been thinking a lot about that. I hurt Kenji and Ray by leaving, didn't I? I could have just stayed home, pretended everything was alright, but I left them. Should I go back? They obviously still care about me. Or who they think I am. They need
Lady,
a
you're
daughter.
not a synth. You have been
They deserve
lured
to
by a
have one.
cult.
Everything in Acadia has been settled. I found my answers. Maybe it's time I did something for someone else.
Kasumi, please listen to me. You're not a synth. You're the real Kasumi. You're their daughter.
Kasumi, please listen to me. You're not a synth. You're the real Kasumi. You're their daughter.
That's the thing, isn't it? Now I'll never really know. That idea is always going to be there, somewhere in the back of my mind. But you're right. I'm real enough, aren't I? Maybe that's all anyone can be sure
Well,
of.
there is a way
I
that
need to
you
start
could tell
packing.
for certain.
I should start saying goodbye to everyone.
As far as I
Thank
could
you.
tell, if she gets pregnant,
Everything. Maybe I'll
she wouldn't
see
be
you
a
back in the
synth, right?
Commonwealth?
Because that would be like a for certain way. Like the Institute, like the synths are good, but the synths can't get pregnant, can they? Because that brings up a whole fucking slew of questions of like, how is Bobby formed? How girl get pregnant? How synth get pregnant? Because what? There's like, oh god, geez, the synths are so stupid. The synths, they make less and less sense. You know, like, I don't know. They make less and less sense the more you think about it in terms of just there is a lot of details to the human body in terms of the
Maybe
biological
someday more places in the world will accept us for who
mechanisms
we
that, you know, are sort of like the little intricacies of all of a human body. And how much did the Institute replicate? It's like, okay, do the synths need to eat and drink? Well, probably. Okay, so they have some sort of, you know, metabolic process that needs to be sustained by food and drink, like an actual organic, like a biological creature. Do they sweat? Do they bleed? I've asked this already. Can they accept a blood transfusion from a human? Like, can they accept an organ transplant from a human? Can they can they get pregnant? Can they die of old age? Can they age in general? Like, you know, you get the one copy of your son who's a synth at the end of the storyline. Is he ever going to grow up, or is he always going to be stuck as a 15-year-old boy or whatever? You know, it's all these questions that in good science fiction, or in a maybe not just in something that the writer thought about more than just like, oh, I want there to be human robots. These are questions that would be answered, and answered in simple ways. It doesn't have to be a fucking spiel. It can be simple as like, yes, this can be this. No, this can't be this. And it would allow you also to maybe set some limitations for yourself. In terms of the story, they can cry real tears. Well, that's the thing, is like they can clearly do certain things because you shoot some of them and they bleed, so they have blood. You know, they assumingly have to eat or of some, like that's the thing, is like, you know, if you lock a synth in a room, will it eventually die of starvation? You know, because I don't know, it's just like there's so much that they don't explain. And again, like they're using these synths as like infiltration units. So, and like long-term infiltration, years, meaning that they would have to stand up to intense scrutiny about, you know, certain things, you know what I mean? Like they would have to be, like intense scrutiny about, you know, like the little itty bitty things of that someone who was around them might pick out and be like, that's really weird that, you know, Jim never, like I never noticed that Jim doesn't sweat, like for example, you know, hypothetical, you know, or I never noticed that, like, oh, I never seen, this or that happen, you know, and you know, or like, oh, Jim and Jane have been married, but they've never had kids. They've been married for a very long time, and Jane's talked about wanting to have kids a lot, but they never had a kid. I wonder why, you know? Like, there would be questions, and it's just like, and these could be interesting to answer, and they don't fucking do anything with it. And like weird things of how it's like synths, you can't tell a synth is a synth until you kill them. And it's like, but why? That's never really elaborated on. Like, let's say like if someone were to do like exploratory surgery on a synth, like they put a synth, they knock a synth out, they put it under anesthesia, which I guess it works for synths. And would they be able to like find a synth component without killing them? Couldn't you like does a metal detector not work on them? Or like an X-ray machine? Like, is the synth components that you do find inside of them, are they not magnetic at all? Like, if you put them into an MRI, would you just like rip out their components, like the few components in there, or are they non-reactive? Like, there's all these sort of questions that you could really pick at. Ash is called an android. Well, yeah, but like at the very least, they, you know, like it's clear that they're like the androids from Aliens, or Alien, like the series. It's like they're on the outside human, but on the inside they're not. And also they're still they still have like robotic quirks where they're not like 100% human, right? And but you know, they're like made of milk on the inside. You know, because like yeah, the synths in Fallout are much more. They are humans. They are artificial humans. They're not robots that look like humans. You know what I'm trying to say? Like there's the distinction there in that. You know, like you wouldn't be able to do that with a synth in Fallout. You wouldn't be able to cut their head off and have their head live. They would die because they are essentially just a exceptionally realistic artificial human and not an actual thing. Oh, I think I'm getting the thing because I blew up the Children of the Atom, which gives me positive karma, which is correct. You guys
Now everyone, silence. The bright light. The rumors are true. It was a nuclear detonation. The children of Adam, they're all dead.
That time.
Alan, we had our differences, yes. But a lot of people died.
Yeah, a lot of people did die. I
Some,
went in with a gun and I played the rebel path while I shot all of them. It was really cool.
But others were friends and family that just came to believe
There's a fruit fly in my
differently
room
than
and it
us.
keeps landing on my fucking head and it's really
This
annoying.
should be a solemn occasion, Alan. Please, a moment of silence. Thank you.
Guns, ammo,
We're
and
talking
souvenirs.
now.
Get 'em while they're in
Tectus
stock.
was many things, but I don't think he was that eager to meet his division. Why did you do it?
Their beliefs of leadership, it was safer for all of us without them in the picture.
Their beliefs, their leadership, it's safer for all of us with them out of the picture.
There's a real chance they would be a threat to us in the future. But is it wrong to have hope? To hope there could have been a better future together? I hope their sacrifice will bring peace to the island. Otherwise, what you've done... Just leave.
What a bitch. Yeah, sure, they were a dangerous cult of radiation-worshipping psychos. But, you know, maybe one day they would have, like, we would have joined hands and sung Kumbaya. Also, Avery, you're actually a synth that was replaced.
Avery.
I hope the harbor's being good to you. At this point, I'd settle if folks were just plain civil.
Oh, I guess I can't do that because I just said I'd keep the secret
Be
safe. Oopsie doopsies. I wonder if is she essential or can I kill her? I'm gonna do a little kill. And she's essential, of course. Also, Nick Valentine has just disappeared. I don't know where Nick is. He's gone. He disappeared after I finished the quest line.
Excellent.
What the fuck is this? This is clearly mod content. This is mod content. Modded homes are too clean for Bethesda standards. Bethesda expects every player home to be what's it called? Every player home to be a dirty shithole made out of what's it called? Sheet metal. Do the characters pronounce Bar Harbor correctly in this? No. I don't think they do. Remember, it's also technically, it's not Bar Harbor in this, it's Far Harbor in this. Following the grand tradition of, because the sign is broken, the town now has a new name. The B has been like, kind of looks like an F because it's been damaged, and so now it's Far Harbor instead of Bar Harbor. That's like, Bethesda loves that. I'd say, to be fair, they do it in New Vegas as well, but Bethesda loves the sign was broken, and so now the town has a new name. There was Arafu in Fallout 3. I'm trying to think of other ones now. And I can't think of any ones. Novak, yes, Novak and No Vacancy yeah, I think in the Arafu in Fallout 3, it was a sign that said "careful," but the C and the L were gone, and so it was Arafu.
You need it? The bait shop's got it.
Bar Harbor here instead of Bar Harbor, it's Far Harbor. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I guess you could say New Vegas is kind of a thing. It's not, you know, it's not Las Vegas anymore. It's New Vegas. They just kind of changed the sign.
Guns, guns, and more guns.
It's a shame that it's not sunnier in this area more often, because it does look nice during the day. It's like, I don't know. I like this sort of, I like the New England weather, the New England coastal weather. It's bracing. But sometimes it's just, oh, look at this ocean and sun and sky, and I can feel the salty sea air kind of thing. You know, okay, I have shat on this game a lot. I won't say shat on this game, because I'd like to give myself some credit in that I'd like to hope that I criticize this game fairly, at least a little bit. I will say that the game looks good. In terms of, I'd say in fidelity wise, it's a kind of lacking in terms of the graphics not being, even for the time, not being as good as they probably should be, considering the size of the studio. But in terms of the design, for the most part, I don't particularly like some of the design, but that's more of a personal taste kind of thing. But I think it looks good in the design that they were going for. Not just Bar Harbor, but also, what's it called? Also, the Commonwealth. Yeah. I will say that Bethesda has, if anything that Bethesda has been doing better as they go on through their games, is their world building. I feel like their world building consistently gets better in terms of like the layout of the world, in terms of the art design. I think, for example, one of the best things of Fallout 76 is its world. Fallout 76, Appalachia, is very pretty. It's very good, nice to look at in terms of, again, its design. Again, fidelity-wise, it's a little crusty, but in terms of its style, it's nice. And each area is interesting visually and has its own unique sort of flavor and look. They get better at that every time, and it's you know, whoever they have doing that sort of stuff, they seem to know what they're doing. They seem to be doing well. See, here you go. Welcome to Far Harbor. See, the sign is broken, so now that means it's Far Harbor instead of despite this clearly being a scratched B. But yeah, that's Far Harbor done in that only took actually like 2 hours, because we got here the first 40 minutes was me walking and criticizing this game. So that took about 2 hours to do the main quest line for Far Harbor, and it's fine. It's fine. It has a bit more. They tried to do more in terms of allowing player choice, in that there are three different paths to choose. You can do a lot of things, like you can destroy the nucleus, you can destroy the Children of the Atom, you can destroy Bar Harbor, you can destroy Arcadia even. There are endings where you can destroy 2 out of the 3 factions on this island. So there's a bit more freedom in terms of like being able to sort of shift how the narrative of the plot ends. It does suffer from the fact that it is kind of short. There's not that many quest lines, or quests in general, but again, DLC and I also skipped the horrible puzzle section. I am not subjecting myself to that puzzle section because it is so boring. It's essentially a tower defense where you go into Dima's memories, and the security system is like a shitty tower defense where you have to go through his memories as a tower defense, and you have to stop little blocks from getting to your like gate, and you have to do it by building defenses of like little shooty turrets, and it's miserable, especially considering you have to do it 5 times to get all of his memories. I don't think it's not necessarily you don't have to do it all 5 times to finish the quest line, but if you want to do what? I think this guy. What is that? Iguana. He's clipping through the ground. Look at him go. Yeah, it's a horrible experience, and I don't like doing it because it sucks. You think Bethesda's ever going to get ladders to work in their games? I think they do work in Starfield, right? They're that actual, like, ladders.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure it's not like an actual ladder. It's just like, isn't it just a canned animation of, like, you go up and down the ladder? You're not actually, like, controlling your character going up and down the ladder. It's like a binary, you're either doing it or you're not. I want to know, is that over there, like, is that home accessible? Yeah, but it's still funky. Yeah, I've seen that. Or I've heard that. I've seen some, like, footage of people, like, in the spaceships. Bethesda, I don't know, it's the canned animations is sometimes it kills a lot of the interactivity in Bethesda games. Like, in Fallout, it's such in Fallout 4, it's such, and in New Vegas, or not New Vegas, 76, it's annoying. The animations for, like, going into workbenches feel so stiff and forced, and sometimes they take too long. Sometimes yeah, that's just background stuff, I think. I don't think that's actual stuff. Spaceship navigation is terrible. I've seen some stuff of, like, the fucking like NPCs talking you through walls of the spaceship, and like the actual, like, navigation is really bad for them. What's a worse space game? Starfield or Star Wars Outlaws?
Sweet.
Earlier today, I was watching someone stream Star Wars Outlaws. They did, like, a big stream. They did, like, 6 hours of streaming it. And good fucking God, does Star Wars Outlaws look... It looks borderline unfinished in certain regards. And it also looks so fucking boring. There was just so many just things where it's like, this looks boring. Like, what are you even doing? Like, an empty open world, missions that were just, like, terrible and, like, way too long. The animations just looked so bad. It's like, please, I just want a good Star Wars game. What do you expect from Ubisoft? What was there? Was there another Ubisoft game earlier that was like a... To me, Star Citizen was looks... Well, Star Citizen is a tech demo. I don't even really consider that a game. You know, it's like I've seen people have fun with it, and I've seen things in that game that look neat. They look really good, and it's like, but it's like, it's not a game, it's a tech demo. Well, the people who keep sinking money into it, it's a classic example of the sunk cost fallacy. It's like they're too far in. You know, like, the last time I saw someone stream it was a month and change ago. I saw someone stream it, and they were doing a thing where it was so strange. Where, okay, so you go to an area that has like a pirate base, and you can you can go in and essentially control the base by just getting in there and being essentially the people with the guns inside. And there are like machines in the walls that make cubes of drugs. And the idea is that you can collect the cubes of drugs and then sell them at a, like a outlaw outpost and get money. And it was like hundreds of they were just like making cubes. It was like an hour of them just making cubes, putting them in like the airlock, and then transferring them into the spaceship. Two of the guys playing got stuck in the walls for like 10 minutes because the physics on the cubes, like there was too many cubes and they got close to them, and if they physicsed them into like the ceiling, and they got stuck in there, you know, and then they took off, and then they like sold all the drugs, and it just looked, there was high amounts of jank. I've played a bit of Star Citizen. I was almost gonna say Starfield. I played a bit of Star Citizen to the point of like, I think 40 minutes at the most. I walked around, went, this kind of looks neat. I got a spaceship from my hangar. I went into orbit. I took off, went into orbit, and flew like a minute in space, turned around, landed, went, oh, that's kind of neat, and then I turned off the game and I never touched it. Are you a little OP in this game now, not having challenges here? Well, that's, yeah, I've hit level cap, and this character is a critical hit machine. Like, here, let's watch, what if you see in the top left corner, when I shoot one of these things, see how much my crit damage is. Times 13.8. If I get a stealth critical, and almost nothing in the game can survive it. This is essentially, like, I've come to, like, this is also like the end of the game, more or less. I finished the campaign, like the main storyline. I've done most of the modded content I've wanted to see. I did Nuka World ages ago. This was Far Harbor, whatever. Far Harbor is done. I was going to maybe say it was going to be 2 streams of this to finish it off, but I am pretty confident that this might most likely the end. Because I already went through my spiel of like complaining about this game. I keep saying complaining. I went through and explained why I kind of at the beginning of the stream, I went through and I went over what I liked about this mod pack, why I had some difficulties with it at the start, why it grew on me. I have enjoyed this mod pack quite a bit. And then I went over the negatives, which really weren't about the mod pack. They were more so just about Fallout 4. And I kind of talked about my issues with Fallout 4 and my dislike of a lot of what Bethesda has stripped away from this game compared to the previous entries in the series. Nice. And how I feel like that is a source of why these games can be very dull for me. I think these games are so much less engaging than the previous entries in the series because of how they've stripped away mechanics. There's very little you can do to influence how you play the game in terms of how you build your character. And I feel like in an RPG, that is a fucking cardinal sin, you know, to do that sort of thing, to make it so that, you know, what does it fucking matter what the character doesn't have a build. There's no such thing as a build, because, you know, it's all the Omni build. You know, you're good with everything. It took a mod doing a lot to try to make it so that there's actually builds. You know, there's no playing a character in the story. You're always the same character. Every time you play Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 4, you're always the same character. You know, you're in Fallout New Vegas. I always compare it to New Vegas because I think it is the best example of a 3D Fallout game. In New Vegas, you're always the courier, but the courier isn't always the same person, if you know what I mean. You know, but in Fallout 4, the sole survivor is always the same person. They're always someone from Vault 111 who was a pre-war person. You're always a late 20s to mid 30s something with a young child who is either a military veteran or a lawyer. You have no way of changing or influencing the story quests to any significance. You have you always have the same voice. That's one of the biggest complaints. To me, I don't like it. It doesn't bother me too much, but I do understand why people don't like it. It's hard to get yourself into a character in an RPG when you have a character who is voiced. You can't even pretend that your character is older or younger because that character sounds like the character's voice actor, who it was in like their 30s, I believe, like maybe like late 20s to 30s, probably like 30s when they did the voice. So, you always have the same voice, who always delivers things in the same inflection, who always sounds the same age. Like there are RPGs that do it well. I think of why do I want to say New Vegas? I think of Mass Effect and the Witcher series. And the way that they do that is they establish a strong central character that exists and then allow the player to play them differently, however they want. You're always playing as Geralt in The Witcher, but you have choices on how Geralt reacts to things and what he does over the course of the game. In Mass Effect, you're always playing Commander Shepard. Commander Shepard is an established character. They're a soldier and all that, but
there we go.
You get some choice on how they how they choose to go through the game. But in this game, you're always playing a character, and you're forced down. You're always looking for your son. You're always the same age, and there's just nothing you can do in terms of a lot of the narrative structure. You can't really influence it or change it. And it also makes it really weird when your character, by all accounts, is a well-adjusted person from the pre-war. They are they are a soldier, a veteran with years of experience, or a lawyer, something that takes a lot of effort and a lot of keeping your self it takes a lot of effort and being a, I guess you would say, competent to do. And then it makes for weird things when this person who seems to be just a normal dude, you go into the post-apocalypse and you become a super psycho. Especially if you go through Nuka World, where you become a raider boss and you can fucking go right through it and like start taking over territories and doing all this horrible shit. It makes it feel there's a bit of a disconnect, where there isn't that much of a disconnect in something like New Vegas, because your character, regardless of how you ended up as a courier, was someone who just lived in the wasteland. So it makes sense that someone who you might have had as nice of a childhood as you could get in the wasteland, or you could have you might be just deranged like many of the raiders and other people. They really it's strange, because Bethesda's other series, Elder Scrolls, is very... Almost every Elder Scrolls game, you start off as, or like a lot of them, you start off as a prisoner, and it's left very vague where your character's from, what were they doing, anything like that. It's kind of just left up to like whatever you want it to be. Was your character falsely imprisoned? Were they a minor criminal? Were they a major criminal? Was it this, that, or the other thing? Was it mistaken identity? Whatever. You can play with that. It doesn't lock you into a story, but it seems that the lead writer between Fallout 4 for certain, and I think he was also big in 3 as well, Emil Pagliarulo, he really likes this thing of like having a very preset character, to the point where you can't even control your age or anything like that. And it's so strange, because Fallout 3 and 4 are just the same story, like the broad story, just done in reverse. In Fallout 3, you are a child leaving a vault to look for your father. In Fallout 4, you are a parent leaving a vault to look for your son.
That's it.
It's so weird that he was so upset. He wanted to tell this story twice. Starting out as a prisoner is pretty good start, because you right away have motivation to survive, and it does not mean you were guilty of some horrible crime. Exactly. You can, especially because in most of these games, in most of the Elder Scrolls games where you start out as a prisoner, it's never explained. Like, you can just let it, you in Skyrim, it's like you were caught trying to cross the border, into Skyrim, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, you know, it doesn't matter what, like, oh, well, what was, you know, what was your character doing? Were they trying to get into Skyrim legally, or they were trying to escape or something? It doesn't matter, but you can make that up yourself, and the game doesn't fill that in for you. It's for you to decide as your own thing. And it does give you like a motivation of like, okay, you want to get out of prison. You know, you have a motivation to get out of prison. You know, in Oblivion is probably the most it's like that in Morrowind as well, but in Oblivion, it's like you start out and the Emperor shows up in your cell and he's like, I've seen you in my dreams. You're the one who, you know, I've seen you in my visions. It's like, you're the one who will do the thing. And so you instantly have some intrigue of like, well, I'm just like a random fucking prisoner. What am I doing here? And then, oh, suddenly I get thrown into this big adventure. But like, again, in Fallout 3 and 4, it's like you have to be this person. That's what it is, you know? And the game, and you can't even ignore it. Like, you can't even ignore regardless of what faction you choose, in Fallout 4, you always end up getting sent to the Institute. You always have to face the thing of like your son. You always have to find your son. There's no way to, again, you can't even just like say no, forget it or anything. Like, you can't, again, I mentioned earlier the essential flag, the fact that NPCs can be essential has really limited the scope of what you're allowed to do in these games, because the developers don't have to think now, what if the player just kills this person? They just go, we don't have to worry about that, we just make the character essential. And so you don't have to worry about, you know, like being like, well,
sweet,
we have to make an alternate path, or even like do the old thing like what they did in fucking what is it, in Morrowind, where they just let you kill people. Or like, if you wanted to, you could kill key NPCs, and the game says the threads of you have severed the threads of prophecy, the world is now doomed, or something along those lines, and it let you keep playing the game, but just kind of like noted to you that you're done. Like, you can't complete the main storyline because this key individual is dead. You know what's kind of cool? You're right about that too. You have to sign up for the vault at the beginning of the game, and you have to go to the bomb. You have to go to the shelter, excuse me, the vault. It would have been really neat, even just as like a goof thing of just like being able to be like, no, I don't want to. And then you die in the nuclear fireball. And just like as like a thing of just letting the player have that option and making it clear. It's like, yeah, you're not going to survive this nuke. You have to go to the shelter. You have to go to the vault. But the fact that it just allowing something, like, because that's the thing is that, you know what I immediately thought of it is Dead Money in New Vegas. At the beginning of Dead Money, when you wake up in front of the fountain and Elijah talks to you over the hologram, you have the option to say, no, I'm not fucking working with you, Elijah. I'm not doing this shit. And Elijah will blow up your bomb collar and kill you. But they give you the fucking choice. They make it clear that it's like, well, if you want to continue the game, you got to fucking play along, at least for now. But they at least give you the choice to die, you know. I think of Wasteland 3, which was another post-apocalyptic RPG. They give you the choice at the beginning of Wasteland 3, after you've done the prologue, to attack, I think he's called the Patriarch. He's like the leader of I don't remember where it is. I think it's in Denver. I think it's in Colorado the game takes place. He's the leader of Denver, of like all of, and I think also of like pretty much of like all of Colorado in the Wasteland lore. He's called the Patriarch, and you can choose to fight him. You're supposed to be working with him at the start of the game, but they give you the choice to fight him, and the fight is unbeatable without cheats intentionally, because you're at that point your characters are like level 2 and he's like level 30 and is like the end boss potentially, and you can choose to fight him. Your characters will get their shit kicked in, but there's the fucking choice. I think you even get an achievement for trying to fight him.
terminal somewhere.
But and there's a choice. Well, yeah, like, I don't know. It's... Well, I think it comes down to of how they've... Another thing in this game that they've done is they've nerfed the dialogue. Why did they make it so that every piece of dialogue only has 4 choices? The mind boggles. Why? Why was that a necessity? And especially considering that the choices are oftentimes yes, sarcastic yes, no, but also yes, or give me more money. That's about it. And it's so... It's funny because there are other games that have the sort of like 4 or like limited choice dialogue. I think of Mass Effect, but Mass Effect had more choices, and Mass Effect had more choices, and Mass Effect also had options where you were, if you wanted to dive deeper about like a character's motivations or maybe about some like lore stuff, there would have been like an off branch where you could choose that conversation topic and it would give you an option of like you can do this, and the other thing. In Kingdom Come, there's a similar thing in the beginning where you had your ass. Yeah, I remember. I never finished Kingdom Come Deliverance, but I remember playing it. I remember playing most of it. I really liked it. This was years ago now. God, I can't really. That's something that maybe. I wonder if it's still on sale. I saw recently it was on sale for like the entire game was like, and like all the stuff was like $6 or something like that on Steam. But maybe that might be worth a stream. I remember also being like, holy... I remember it was fucking difficult. I remember trying to escape from the village at the beginning of the game when it's being attacked. Dying several times because it's like you're getting like fucked up on horseback and people are hitting you and you have like no skills.
Yes.
You know, and then like, you know, you go back thinking you're gonna get revenge and you get your shit kicked in again, and then slowly over the course of the game building skills, fucking learning how to read because it's fucking the Middle Ages and, you know, your character doesn't know how to read. You know, that game, you know, it wasn't... I think it had some issues in terms of it being a little there's a little, you got a little whiff of the Eurojank. But you know, it was very impressive. I mean, impressive. The game was that they were very diligent trying to replicate. Well, yeah, it was clear that they were trying to make that as much of as accurate as you possibly could in a game, while still making it a game that could be enjoyable. And of course, they did have to take some leaps or some acceptable breaks from reality. But it was still really good. I remember one of the things oh fuck. Excuse me. I remember one of the things that I thought was oh god, it was so cool. I remember I had eventually gotten a full set of plate armor. Or like an almost complete full set of plate armor, and like a nice sword or like a hammer or something like that. I think it was a sword, like a nice like a broadsword, like a long sword. And I went to like a shitty little bandit camp for like some quest or something, and there was like bandits in a mine or something like that. And I put the armor on, I put the helmet down where like the visor was down, pulled out the broadsword, and these bandits with just like dinky little swords and axes and wearing like little or no armor. I was like, you know what it was? It was like wearing power armor in Fallout. It was so cool because I'm going in, swinging this fucking sword, cleaving these people, and they're just like hitting me and they can't get through the plate armor, right? Because they just don't have the weapons for it. It was the coolest fucking moment. And it took hours of, you know, getting the armor, getting the skills with weapons and all that sort of stuff, and it was so worth it in the end in terms of like becoming like the medieval Terminator. They're making a sequel, right? And it's supposed to come out like soonish, right? I think. I remember I saw like a couple months ago, I saw a trailer for it and I got excited because there was like an early firearm in it, and I love that sort of shit. Like an early handgun. With there was like an early handgun, like one of the, essentially like a little cannon that you hold, and you light a fuse and you just point it and hope it kills someone. But yeah, it looks that could be cool. I hope that's good. And you know what else? I remember I played the yeah, handguns and rifles appeared before. Yeah, guns are ancient. Guns are old. You know, at the very like the earliest sort of things of like a fire lance and stuff like that. You know, they have they have some early things like the early handguns, GONNEs. Or NNE, they were like little miniaturized cannons on sticks, and you would load shot and powder into them, and there would just be a little like touch hole at the end, and you would light it and just point it, and it would, you know, shoot the shot in that direction. Not honorable. Oh god, I've seen a video recently from Forgotten Weapons about the one like type of gun that was so prevalent in Japan for like hundreds of years. It was like the technology of like, and most of the guns were used were of that. It was a matchlock. They used matchlocks in Japan for the longest time. What was it called? Japan gun. Forgotten Weapons. Great. Of course, now I type in Forgotten Weapons Japanese gun, and I'm getting all of the like World War II era stuff. No. Tanegashima. That's what they were called. Tanegashima. The guns of the samurai. Tanegashima. Yeah. I remember using those in Neo. Yeah, they had those in that game, in those two games. But yeah. Anyways, just going back to complaining about Fallout as I walk around. This was actually what I was going to be doing for my last stream of Fallout, was just walking around talking about the game. So I've done Far Harbor, and now we're in the walking around talking about the game section. Yeah, I really. What I'm afraid of with this series is I don't think they're going to course correct in a way. I don't know. I feel like they're not going to learn their lesson. You know, I don't know. Like, do you think? I don't know. Considering how bad of like a stain on the reputation Fallout 76 was, do you think they? I don't know. I hope they could. Like, the positive good side ending is that they do learn. No, they're just gonna follow the money. Well, yeah, again. But then, like, here's the thing. Did Starfield sell well? Last time I heard it sold okay, but probably not enough to justify its price, right? Like, did it sell well, or like, I don't know. Like, I think no one plays it anymore. Well, yeah, like again, more people are playing Skyrim than they are Starfield. You know, we'll see. There is supposed to be a DLC for Starfield. We'll see what that looks like. And what the fuck? Oh, is this like a home? Or is this like a fucking glitched building? What the fuck? Fallout Starfield for them. Well, why would you? Nobody gives a shit. Even like the normal, like the Bethesda channels on like YouTube and stuff, they didn't even really give a shit about that. Even the people who you would probably call like a shill, like the people who will be like, yo, Bethesda the best no matter what, even they were like, Starfield is you know. Yeah, it's curious to see, like, if that didn't make its money, but you know what I think? And I think this is something that I've seen, I think it was Patrician might have kind of said something similar to this in his video, or one of his things talking about Starfield, is that whatever does happen is that I don't think Bethesda is going to be allowed anywhere near as much freedom. So the gameplay was just background noise. Well, yeah, like that's... Oh, God. That's unfortunate. When the game you're playing is second monitor content to engaging with your chat. I was just saying, like, I think Bethesda is not going to be given as much leeway as going forward as they've been probably have. I think because they're no longer their own thing under, they're now part of, they're now owned by Microsoft. And I would not be surprised if Microsoft steps in and says, okay, Mr. Howard, you are going to report to this person, and they're going to be the buck stops there. You know what I mean? And they're going to be watching, and they're going to be making sure that you're not wasting more money. Because when your team spends years making a game and millions, possibly hundreds of millions of dollars, and we don't see a return, or we see a very, very small return, that's not acceptable, which is completely understandable. Like, when you put in tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars into something, you don't just want to get, like, you put $100 million down, you don't want to make $105 million. You're expected to have much, 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 much more. I don't think Todd will handle that well. He's pretty self-absorbed and somewhat delusional. I don't think he's under any delusions. I think he is maybe a bit self-absorbed. I think he knows exactly that, like, I don't think he's delusional. I think he's just like, he hasn't had to pay for anything. You know what I mean? Like, there has not been, I think one of the, I've seen again in certain reviews and stuff like that, talking that after, you have to think Bethesda had a lot of hits. I think it was a case of Icarus flying too close to the sun, all of them as Bethesda. Oblivion rated very highly. Fallout 3 rated very highly. Skyrim fucking rated a billion million best game of the year. Fallout 4 even still pretty high. Maybe not as good. They thought they could do no wrong. Fallout 76. Icarus, the wings melt. Starfield, flat. Just like the game equivalent of a fucking wet fart. It's a case of resting on your laurels. I don't know what, you're just maybe failing to iterate, failing to try to think that I think it is a case of you do no wrong. There's no way we could not make a game that is a hit. Because we're Bethesda. Oh, we make the open world games. We just have to make an open world game. But I would not be surprised if there is significant oversight for them going in the future, where it's like, you're not gonna just like you're that their autonomy is going to be severely limited, or maybe not severely limited, but like limited to the point where, they've got more eyes on them because we can't waste that money. At least they did try to improve it. Yeah, true. I think it was a case of, if you want to be cynical, is that was probably the best thing to do in terms of wanting to salvage their reputation at all, because it would have looked much, 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 much worse if they just said, well, Fallout 76 is a broken piece of shit mess. Goodbye. And that's it. That would have been even worse. So I think it was a case of, if you want, like, it was the right thing to do in terms of, yes, you should fix this piece of shit because that's the right thing to do. But it was also the right thing to do from the cynical of, oh my God, if we don't do this, they're gonna fucking rip us apart. We're already getting our fucking reputation dragged through the mud because of how much of a piece of shit this game is. If we let it be a piece of shit and don't do anything, it's gonna be even worse. But they're not gonna, yeah, they're. They really drag their feet fixing anything in Starfield, leave basic stuff. No one is playing it. Again, it's interesting. They just like they're an interesting developer. I really don't understand how. Man, and it's funny because I mentioned earlier how I think it was Patrician. I keep referencing his review, but in his review of Starfield, he mentioned how much of a night and day change it was, or going to play Cyberpunk with its expansion and its update, its 2.0 update, and he compared it to drinking a really like cold glass of water after being really, really thirsty. And it is funny how like Cyberpunk 2077 was not anywhere near as much of a disaster as 76 was when it launched, but it was a disappointment and it was lacking. And they did significantly improve it over the years. The 2.0 update was a significant improvement overall, and Phantom Liberty is very much worth it. It is like night and day when you look at like, you know, okay, like now Cyberpunk is worth it. Cyberpunk is actually pretty good. I would, you know, I'm going to be playing Cyberpunk probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to stream it again because it's been a while. Or not again, stream it. I am going to stream it. I am going to play it again. I've never streamed it. No Man's Sky is not really my cup of tea, but for a small... So yeah, again, see, that's another thing is I don't particularly care for No Man's Sky either. I play it every once in a while, and then I remember every time that's like I see like an update on Steam for like, oh, No Man's Sky has gotten its 87th update, and we've added balloons, you know, that you can make balloon animals with. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then I turn on the game, play it for a couple hours, and go, man, I really don't like the gameplay loop of this game. But at the very least, they had a vision. They know what they want that game to be, and they have consistently added more and more stuff to it. In the way that what it looks like and how it plays now, the core gameplay loop is the similar, same-ish, but is much, much more expanded upon and elaborate, and I think you could say is closer to what the original game was presented as in terms of trailers. Being able to have this big, you know, universe and all this sort of stuff and multiplayer. Yeah, you can play with other people. That's something that it took a couple years, but they did it. You can play multiplayer with multiple people. You know, and it works well from everything I've seen. I've never done it myself, but I've seen other people do it, and it works. Like, you know, you can link up and meet people and build your bases and explore planets and scan shit. One of the infamous promises. Yeah, I know. Like, that game was so bad. I remember playing it in the launch week, and it was like, regardless of the settings, I could not get more than 50 frames a second. It was stuttery and laggy and awful. But yeah, it's one of those things where Bethesda, I don't think I'm looking forward to any of their shit. You know, it's funny. I was talking about it, I think like earlier in the week or something. I was looking through Steam because I was bored while I was streaming. There's an Indiana Jones game coming out at the end of the year in December. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And it was funny because I was reading through the Steam page, and I think it's Machine Games making it, the guys who made the new Wolfenstein series. And one of the things they advertised at like, again, this is what I mean, is that, like, you know, Todd Howard is known as Lieman Who Lies. At the end of this thing for this new game, this big Indiana Jones title coming out at the end of the year, they said the story was from Todd Howard. Executive produced and story by Todd Howard. They're like putting that as a selling point, that Todd's behind, is part of this. And that to me was like, Jesus Christ.
That's it.
That's embarrassing. Oh, Todd Howard was behind this game? I'll pass, thanks. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Just talked for like 10 minutes straight. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what the new Elder Scrolls game looks like, if that ever. I don't know. I wonder. I would love to be a fly on the wall at Bethesda in the aftermath of Starfield. Like, I wonder how, if and how that has affected their any future productions. You know, is it like, you know, and I wonder again. I've mentioned it, but I've wondered if Microsoft has stepped in at all. Has Microsoft done anything to be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing down there? How much did this game cost? You sold how many copies? Ugh. My mom has one of these scales at home somewhere. She got it from like an antique store or something. They were selling an old one. Oh, that was a Kraken thing I shot. Gross. Yep. Fallout. Oh, Fallout. You know what? I mentioned that I might play handmade rocket rifle. What neat. I might play Fallout London eventually. It's gonna be that's gonna have to wait. I am so fucking sick of Fallout 4 that I don't think I could take playing something, even if it is a different thing. I'm sick of this. I'm kind of sick is the wrong word. Just tired. Like, oh god, I don't want to play any more Fallout 4 after this for at least a good 6 months. And it would take, I will say, it would take a significantly impressive mod pack to make me want to play Fallout 4 on its own ever again. I would need to, you know, I was talking about earlier how this is a very vanilla plus mod pack. It doesn't change too much of like the base gameplay. It kind of just adds on to it. If I ever do feel like playing this game ever again, it would have to be with one of those crazy mod packs. It would have to be one of those good ones. Or not good ones, that's the wrong word. It would have to be one of those ones that goes like, hey, we made the game. There was a couple I was looking at. There's one that made, I think it's called Fallout Anomaly, and it turns it into essentially Stalker. It makes it like dark and really, really difficult, and like you have to, you know, treat your injuries properly and stuff like that. There was another one called Sand, I think, or Sandland, which
Sweet.
turns the entire Commonwealth into it turns the entire Commonwealth into a desert, which kind of looked neat. So something like that. But if I ever do play some more Fallout on this stream, it will most likely be, or Fallout 4, it will be, it'll probably be London. I'll wait for that to, cook up and to get its patches and fixes, and I will also wait for someone to maybe like make a mod pack out of Fallout London that adds like some, like all the sort of quality of life mods and little tweak mods that you kind of expect into it. It's a good mod, but it's still just really a location change. Yeah, well, I've seen some stuff about it, and I'm like, it could be fun. Like, it could be, again, if it was just like, I guess I would say is just inconvenient timing on my part, where I started this, and then like 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after I started doing Wasteland Reborn, it's like, oh yeah, Fallout London's out after being like in the works for like a fucking 1,000 years, and it's like, oh shit, that thing that I thought was never going to come out is suddenly out. And I've already started a different Fallout, and I kind of don't want to play 2 at the same time, or 2 back to back, because that's just a lot of game.
Got it. Got it.
What time is it? It is 10:30. This has been going on for 3.5 hours. I think this will be the end of the Fallout for tonight, and maybe for good. For this might be the end of this playthrough. I will definitely be keeping the game on my computer for at least a little bit, just in case I do decide to come back to it for whatever reason. But yeah, we'll head back to the Commonwealth, because we still have to finish up the final quest for Bahaba, and yeah. I've said it before, I think this mod pack is good if you want a Vanilla Plus Fallout 4 experience. I was a really cranky asshole to this game in the first... It's so funny, because I've gotten so many comments, and by so many, I've gotten like 3 comments pointing out, it's like, wow, you complain a lot in the first video of Wasteland Reborn, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking did, because I was not having a good time. And it took a while for this to start actually growing on me. And it did, because I'm still playing it 36 hours later.
Mom? Dad? I'm home.
Kasumi?
All's well that ends well, or something.
Oh my god. My baby is okay.
Welcome back home, Kasumi.
It's good to be home.
You saved my daughter. Thank you.
Happy to do it, Kenji.
You don't often see kindness in the Commonwealth. I'll never forget this.
Kasumi, does this mean you know we're your parents, right? You're not a synth.
I know, Mom. I'm sorry. I was just so confused. I wanted to go somewhere. Anywhere.
It's okay, Kasumi. You're home now.
Kiji's not true. Kazumi's really a synth. She replaced you. Oh, I'm
Listen
not
to
going to do that.
Kasumi
I'm not going to
next
ruin the
time,
family
Kenji.
reunion.
Don't just try to keep her safe. Talk to her.
I know. I will. I was holding on so tightly, I almost lost her.
Is that it? Why didn't that just end?
Mr. Nakano.
I need to speak to you. There's one last thing you and I need to discuss. Your reward for bringing my daughter.
I don't need a
home.
reward. I genuinely don't
We
need
don't
it.
have much to offer, but my father traveled the Commonwealth. He had quite the collection before he died. I buried it all near the house. I'm not the explorer he was. I don't need them. I think they would be better with you.
You don't need to do that. You keep your father's collection. For your family.
Thank you. Perhaps we'll need it someday. God knows plenty has happened to us already. Thank you again. You saved my family. We won't forget that.
And Far Harbor I keep saying Bar Harbor. Far Harbor is done. That is the end of Far Harbor. And good God, this weather. There we go. Gonna have to get a nice screenshot for the final thumbnail for YouTube. I'm gonna have a nice screenshot of walking into the sunset. You know, classic sort of ending. Yeah. Don't know what else to say about this that I haven't said in this stream or the previous 14-ish streams. I think it's just one of those things where I don't think Fallout 4 is very good. I think the biggest it is a letdown. It is a letdown, and it's a shame because yeah, it is a weird sunset. Now you mentioned that, yeah. And it's a letdown because, which is a shame because there is a group of people. There are people who really enjoy this series. There are people who enjoy Bethesda games. There are people who are willing to spend much of their own time and effort making additions to this game in the form of armor, in the form of weapons, in the form of quests, in the form of areas, and in terms of adding mechanics or fixing bugs or doing this and that and the other thing. And it's a shame to not to feel like the game, that the people who make the actual game are not putting in as much effort and as much care into the series as the fans of the game are. I feel like it's kind of it's a shitty attitude, and I'm not the first person to point this out. It does seem that Bethesda has an attitude of make a very sloppily put together game that is just kind of there, and any issues the fans will figure it out. And yes, as pointed out, it's kind of weird because they've even given up on they are so anti even supporting the fans and making it easy for them in terms of stuff like making it more difficult, as I've read, of making it more difficult to mod for Starfield. It's a one-sided relationship. It's a very weird thing where they don't seem to give a shit about the people who actually care about these games and enjoy these games, whether it be because of the series or because it's Bethesda. And it sucks. You know, this mod pack has 700 mods. 700 mods. And that is probably not even a 1/100th of the mods that have been made for Fallout 4. The Fallout 4 modding scene is not as big as Skyrim's, but it's still, you know, still pretty big compared to most games. Most games don't have a very big modding community. But this one, you know, it's so, you know, it's, you know, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of mods of every size and shape and variety. And these, like, Bethesda just doesn't seem to give a shit that it's something that they almost take for granted. And it's like, you do realize that that people like that are not always going to be there. You know what I mean? You're not guaranteed a fan base with a series. You're not guaranteed people buy your games in perpetuity just because they've liked some of the entries in the series. You're not guaranteed that there's going to be a modding community to generate hype for your games or to generate people buying it and playing it years after they've come out. That can go away, and your games can wallow in obscurity and can be shit on, and people who were always there are going to be now like, well, I don't want to play this shit anymore because it's garbage. Look at what Starfield. Look at how much less engagement in every sort of way, whether it be from people watching it, playing it, streaming it, modding it. You know, it's nowhere near even Fallout, you know, or Fallout 4. And it sucks. And it's, you know, I think Fallout 4, you know, you could point that the sort of, I guess, the rot started earlier than Fallout 4, but I feel like Fallout 4, for me personally, was my tipping point to where I'm like, I don't really like these games anymore. You know, and I feel like these games are starting to decline in quality, and it sucks because, you know, I like Fallout, I like Elder Scrolls. It's especially shitty too because I was introduced to Fallout by Bethesda. Bethesda made Fallout 3, and I played Fallout 1 because Fallout 3 was coming out. And it sucks to see a series sort of lose what drew you to it in the first place. As I've said earlier, it's awful to see a game's systems and mechanics be sort of stripped away by layers, be peeled away and just discarded. Not only that, but the whole concept of the genre has moved, and that's yes. I will say too is that they do seem to be there. They do seem to have a sort of je ne sais quoi to them. There is a sort of secret sauce to Bethesda games, in that they do have their own sort of feeling, positive and negative. That can be, you know, you can say that it is negative or positive, that feeling, but there is a sort of thing they do that other first-person or sort of open-world games don't do. But it does seem like they have stagnated a bit, in that they do seem to just be making the same thing over and over again and changing the themes of it, changing the coat of paint over it, and not iterating enough in terms of a lot of the things they do. It's interesting. Yesterday or the day before, I watched a video. Oh God, it was only a couple minutes long, and it was a comparison between a conversation in Cyberpunk 2077 and a conversation in Starfield, excuse me. And it was very similar in that it was, you go to a meeting to buy or purchase something, and then a conflict happens. There's some sort of thing, you know, there's some sort of like sticking point that happens between the characters. And the game that came out 3 years prior, Cyberpunk, a part of the game, this conversation that they used from Cyberpunk was in the game from launch in 2020, compared to a Bethesda game that had come out 3 years after. And the Bethesda game looked like something that was 15 years, maybe not 15, maybe like 10, 12 years old. Maybe even older, in terms of in terms of the voice acting, in terms of the animation, in terms of the all of the other sort of graphical work around the scene, in terms of the framing. Bethesda really has awkward framing of so many of their animations and conversations where it feels like just like why like control the camera a bit. You know, like, you know, you can make it so that I'm forced to look at something. You can make it so that I'm, you know, it felt so weird. I might actually show this video if I can find it. Quantum Deathclaw, excuse me? Oh, they're Enclave guys. I think the failure to change and to iterate and adapt, I think kind of comes I think it comes back to something mentioned only like 20 minutes ago of the thinking that that they can't make something shit. I think it relates to that. It relates to the fact that they probably have been resting on their laurels a little bit too much, and that it's gonna take maybe even a couple more times where their games don't review as well, their games don't sell as well, for them to realize that maybe it's the gamers who have the problem. It's the gamers who are wrong. No, maybe it's you. You know, and you know, it's a shame. You know, it's a shame because it's one of those things where you hope that it changes positively. You hope that, you know, in the same way, and I know it's a bit of a dramatic comparison, in the same way that you hope that the person you know who has some sort of issue, that they change. And it's unfortunate that, you know, even if they don't realize it, Microsoft will. Well, yeah, that's something I've mentioned where I've you know, I hope that if I want to be realistic, is that, you know, if anyone, but you know, if they have to be forced into being like, you are doing something different, stop fucking it up, I'll take that. The ultimate good thing would be that Todd or the team leads or all the devs or whoever kind of go, we need to shape up. They you know, they shape up, they hit the gym, and they try to make a better game than their previous entries, the past few entries. Of course, that might not happen, and it might just, you know, be that they have to be kind of dragged kicking and screaming by their parents, aka Microsoft, to be like, okay, stop fucking shit up, you know. But man, my thing is, though, I'm gonna be cynical about it, and I don't think they will. I think the next whatever comes out next or first, either be it Elder Scrolls or another Fallout game, I think it will be that will be the big one. It will be to see. It's like, if they make another big Fallout game or a big Elder Scrolls, and it's a fucking just as much of a shitty disappointment as Starfield, I feel like any goodwill they have left, Bethesda as a company, will be flushed down the toilet, and it will. You know, it's a point where there's a point where it's like someone. There's a point where you're so disappointed by someone that even if they do change their ways and sort of make amends, that you like, I feel like it's a case of, you know, like if it's like, okay, Bethesda makes a bunch of shit games that ruin these series and stuff like that, and then they and I go, I'm fucking sick of you, I'm done, I'm not buying your shit anymore. And even if they do change and they eventually make a game that's a fucking banger, oh my god, it's fucking Fallout the best, and it's the best thing that's happened to this series, I think it's a case where I go, well, I don't care. You've already, like, I don't care if it's like you've squandered my trust. You've squandered my, you squandered your goodwill with me. That's it. I'm not giving you another chance. I don't care if you've actually changed. You should have thought about that before you fucked up the first time. Oblivion. I think you're probably thinking Obsidian, right? It may auto-correct it to Oblivion, but yeah, Obsidian probably also does need a kick in the pants. I think for Obsidian, it's a... I think it's just a case of that a lot of the people probably who did make those games that everyone liked are gone. You know what I mean? Like they've just moved on. They've retired or gone to the other companies, made their own companies. I think that's the reason why those games from Obsidian started to suck. Is that they just don't have the same people behind them. You know, it's easy to say, you know, it's like a Ship of Theseus thing where it's like, oh, it's Obsidian, you know, the guys who made Fallout New Vegas. It's like, yes, but like none of the people who actually made Fallout New Vegas are working on these new games for Obsidian. Is it still the same Obsidian that made Fallout New Vegas? No, not really. It's just that they have the same name. That's what I think. Yeah, we're on one of the edges of the map here. Get a nice look at the very, very, very small skyline of Boston. I never realized how few buildings there are from over here, like few tall buildings. Yep. Let's head back to Diamond City. We'll wrap it up in Diamond City. Well, I will say I am bad at endings. I don't know how to wrap things up, especially after such a long playthrough and after such a long fucking spiel over the course of this game. Or spiel over the course of the stream of talking about this. But I think, I hope, I feel like I have been more coherent than I have many times before talking about why I dislike something or why I trying to explain my feelings about it. I've tried to be careful and sort of very discerning with what how I choose my words
Ellie,
about this situation.
How did everything go with the Nakano case?
About these games.
I tracked Kenji's daughter to a synth refuge up north, near Far Harbor. She's back home, safe and sound.
That's great. We don't often get to bring people good news. It's a nice change of pace. Thanks for coming in for this one. I knew something good was happening when you and Nick started working together.
That's great, Ellie.
Don't be a stranger, Gumshoe.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you're giving our friend here all the credit.
Just keeping you on your toes, Nick.
And with Far Harbor done and dusted, that's probably gonna be the end of Fallout 4 Wasteland Reborn.
Nothing to report.
Big old mixed bag, this one. A lot of stuff that made me frustrated. A lot of stuff I didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
What's feeling?
I've been laying off chems and booze.
No, that's not what I wanted to say. So rats.
Feeling sick.
We'll clean you up.
But God, I don't know. It's just there's a thing I remember. It's a thing of like hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's kind of my expectations when it comes to most games that come out that are announced. Is especially if it's from a bigger developer. It's the idea of, man, I hope that game is really good, but I am ultimately prepared for it to suck shit. And unfortunately, as much as I would love Fallout 5, Elder Scrolls 6 to be good, I don't think they will. I think it's going to take a couple more big stinkers for Bethesda to wake up, and that's unfortunate, because as this mod pack shows, there is plenty of still goodwill. There are people who care about these series, who care about these games, who are willing to put their own time and effort in to make these games, to make mods, and to improve them and to add to them, and to do it with more care and attention, it seems, than the actual developers of the games, which sucks, because that's not their job. They're not being paid for it. They're not the ones making this shit. They're not the ones spending millions and millions of dollars to make these games, only for them to be underwhelming, lukewarm, unfinished. You're paying for this shit. You deserve better for your money. Games are not manna from heaven. Games are things you need to spend your own hard-earned money on to buy. And I think it will, once these companies start seeing their bottom line affected because people aren't buying their shit anymore, hopefully that will be enough of a kick in the pants to be like, we aren't owed these fans, we aren't owed copies sold. We actually have to deliver something that is worth people buying. And that still happens. There are still good games, big and small, and it's because those devs actually make a product worth buying. And I hope that one day that Bethesda games will be games that are worth buying, that you can confidently say, man, I'm looking forward to that next Bethesda game because it's going to be good, and that when it does come out, it is actually good and it's worth its cost. That's my positive note for that. And I think with that, that will be the end of Fallout 4 Wasteland Reborn. We are at, we're over, we're just at 40 hours roughly. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster of good and bad. But I think I'm happy to leave it there. Slim chance that I might play this again. Pretty slim. I was going to do this into 2, but I think this was good as one nice long 4-hour episode to finish this off. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Fallout 4 Wasteland Reborn. Hard to separate this from the base game, but I think this is a really good mod pack. If you are one of those people who enjoys Fallout 4 at its base, this is a really good way of experiencing it in a vanilla plus sort of way, while also adding back features from the previous titles like skills and more specific perks and other sort of mechanical features, while still keeping it sort of the Fallout 4 you would know. Highly rated. I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Ending.